Hello, everybody. Greetings, one and all. I am hoping that my sound is okay. Oh, sounds like it's okay. Hard to say. Nice to see you all. If there's anybody here watching live, let me know if my microphone can be heard. I'm about to check. And it is a pleasure to see you all. My name is Dustin Cormier, and this is another episode of How to Rock Astrology. Welcome. It's a pleasure to see you all. Today, we are going to be doing more of our classic live stream free readings. Yeah, we got volume. We're good. And I am happy to be doing it with you all. It's nice to be able to share my passion for consciousness and the cosmos and the stars and all things related to the knowledge, the ancient psychedelic knowledge of astrological consciousness. So, welcome. If you haven't been here before, when we do a live stream, we hang out and we discuss your chart live. We discuss everything that can be seen in it, and most times, including today, we'll usually be discussing techniques, new ways of reading the chart based on the studying and the techniques that I've been learning from my main teacher, who at the present time is Ernst Wilhelm. Hello, Robbie. It's nice to see you. Hello, Tantaina Lena. It is nice to see you both. So we're going to allow a bit of time for everybody to pop in, to get settled. And today we're probably going to do 2 or 3 live readings. I usually at some point like to make an offering to my channel subscribers. And all of my subscribers are patrons of my channel. I'm happy to serve them because they also serve me by being a part of my world. We'll probably at some point do donation-based readings as well. It'll probably just be the highest bidder gets to make a reading. Now, a little news in my life. I've just recently put out a book. I should get a copy of it so I can be like, hey, here's this thing that I did. I've got a picture of it somewhere, but I also just got a new computer. So a lot of the stuff that I usually have, I don't have. And that reminds me, I've got to go get a thing. And it's annoying that I didn't previously get this thing. I have some new pictures that I'm going to share because we're going to be discussing a certain type of astrology. So, quick rundown. I've got a new book out. If you want to check it out, go to dustincormier.com/subscribe and you'll be able to, or you can just go to dustincormier.com and you'll see everything going on in my life there. Next thing, I am doing these astrology techniques given to me by Ernst Wilhelm. It relates to what we call the chart structure. We're going to be discussing why the rashis, the signs, work the way they do. And of course, we're going to be using the symbology that I've been so excited to share, which is the Adityas, Ernst Wilhelm's Adityas. For all intents and purposes, this is still going to teach everybody about how signs work in general, specifically relating to each sign's critical point, as well as where something is exalted from a sign. For example, in classic Tropical Vedic Astrology, let's take Capricorn, for example. Saturn rules Capricorn. Where is Saturn exalted? Saturn is exalted in the 10th house from Capricorn, which is Libra. So that's an example of why the 10th house from Capricorn has a significant importance for Capricorn. It's interesting, Capricorn's also the 10th sign. So that logic is going to take us into a very deep, nuanced discussion of the chart structure, and it's going to show you guys where my new techniques are at. It might sound nerdy, and I know the nerds on my show are going to dig that, but really, this is going to do some good work. I've already been practicing this. Just wait to see it, wait to check it out. I think it will surprise most people with what I've got cooking there. Now, another thing is that I've got some pictures that I want to show along with it. And those pictures are on my hard drive. So while I can see my main folks hanging out with me here, Tatalina and Robbie, and I know some people will be coming along soon as well, let's take a moment. I'm going to get my stuff together. I'm going to get this hard drive. I'm going to get those pictures, and then we're going to rock and roll. So excuse me for just one moment. I shouldn't be gone for too long. Sorry about that, y'all. I just got a new computer, so everything is everywhere. But we're figuring it out. All right. All right. So, the next thing to do, I'm going to get Kala going just so we've got it going. And I'm going to dig into these pictures just so you guys can start seeing what exactly it is that I'm starting to break into here. These are pictures that I just did recently, as per these techniques that I've been exploring. And they're going to relate to everything we've learned about the Adityas. Let's see, where did I put these? I'm just going to dump it into pictures. Okay, good. So thanks for your patience, everybody. This is me getting my close-up right now so you guys can see the last time that I shaved. I think it's an interesting look. Making myself feel like a wild man of the woods. So you guys have already seen much of the pictures that I will be sharing, including a simple little discussion on the Adityas. This is Dhata Aditya. We have Aryama Aditya, Mitra Aditya, Varuna, Indra, ruled by the sun, Vivashvan, ruled by Mercury, Tvashta, ruled by Venus, etc., etc. These are the classic Aditya pictures that I like to give, just to get a little taste of what the Adityas are all about. Now, a very important one is when we're going to start getting into the chart structure. The chart structure is the secret sauce that holds the basin of what the signs are really all about. We can see with Dhata, we have its critical house, and then its exaltation and debilitation point. The Lord of Dhata, which is Mars, is ruled in the 10th house from itself. When we look at Aryaman, we can see the critical house, as well as the place where Aryaman's Lord Venus is exalted. The ruler of Venus, the ruler of Aryaman, which is Venus, is exalted in Parjanya, which is in the 11th house from itself. So in order to use Aryaman well, you're going to want to have an 11th house tilt to operating it. So this is going to make a little bit more sense as we go on, as we start sharing our charts and doing our readings for the day. So, as per usual, I usually like to give a little bit of time for people to creep in so that we can get some folks coming together and observing what we have got going on here. Now, for our sake, it might do us well to maybe we'll get a little example chart going on for the moment, just so that we can start chipping away at a little bit of these new techniques that I will be using. And as we go along, it will allow us a little bit of time for people to start coming in. Now, I'm starting to think of who would be somebody worth looking at as an example chart. I'm currently looking at some folks. We got lots of people. Ooh, Charlie Sheen would be a good one. It looks like we have Charlie Sheen's chart on here. Now, I'm going to share this for a moment, and you guys are going to see what I'm doing because, yes, I just redid my computer, which means I've got to put all my stuff on here. Let's see, how do I usually do it? Watch Tadyavashtas, Drishti. This would be Ishta Sabha. Nope. This would probably be Charakarikas. Yeah, so because I just got my computer back going, I have to bring myself back to what I usually have happening here. I'm going to have Chiron, outer planets, house numbers. We'll probably start off with the round wheel. This is only going to take 10,000 years, folks, but this is what I got to do. Every time you get a new computer like I have, every time you set up Kala, you've kind of got to readjust for how you use things. Aditya, I wonder what that would do. That's interesting. Oh, I see. Cool. All right. Yep. Everything's looking good. Yeah, so this is the type of chart we're going to be using. For some reason, I don't trust that Charlie Sheen is considered by Kala to be a Gemini rising. Let's do a quick peek. Yep, he's a Gemini rising. All right, looks like he is the chart we're going to play with. So it looks like we're going to be taking a quick peek at Charlie Sheen's chart, just to see some of the craziness, some of the good things happening in his chart, and some of the less good things. So we have a good sense of what's happening here. This would be Vimshapak, probably aspects. Is that what I would have there? I think so. I know I have the Navamsha chart down here. Whoops. Let's see, do I got people coming in? I got my friend Phoenix Dextros is asking a question. What aspect of my own chart speaks to my calm nature? That's a good question. Maybe we should look at my own chart instead. That'd be more fun, wouldn't it? I would say Phoenix Dextros. Probably that I'm a Venus Amakaraka. Maybe we should look at my chart just to start poking away at things. I'll give you a peek at it. What the heck? I don't even have my own chart on here, so it's good for me to do. November 8th, 1991 at 23 p.m. That is my birth time for all interested. I'm born November 8th, 1991 at 11 p.m. This puts me as Leo rising in Tropical Vedic Astrology. Now, what do I usually have here? I'm having a brain fart on an important screen. not prana, not Vimshapak. Dignities and Vargas. Oh, that's one. That's an important one. I'm going to have the dignities. Yeah, that's what I usually have there. I probably have planetary aspects right here. And then I probably have the Septumsha here. So, just taking a quick peek at my own chart here. This would be my Tropical Vedic Astrology chart. But, of course, when we are working, I usually like to display the Adityas. So in the Adityas system, I am Vivishvan rising. Probably the thing that gives me the most chill energy is my Venus Atmakarka, which is the highest degree planet in my chart, falling into Tvashta, which is a nice thing. Now, Layla Erickson, you're asking what software am I using? Now, this is a software that is called Kala, K-A-L-A, which of course means time in Sanskrit. Kala software was created by Ernst Wilhelm quite a long time ago at this point. Yes, thank you, Robbie. My buddy Robbie's always got me. Kala software is, in my opinion, the preeminent Vedic astrology software. There's a lot of good things happening with Kala that you don't get too much of in other places. So this would make Kala a... there's a lot of things that Kala does that you don't get in a lot of astrology softwares. It's very customizable. I've been told that it calculates Shadbala in a very concise way compared to others that we might have seen. And Shadbala is very important for all of us, so it's a nice thing to be able to poke around at. You know, even the fact that the moon is my highest Shadbala probably says a little bit about my character, this chill personality that speaks to my calm nature. And I thank you for asking, Phenodextros. Phonedextros? I'll have to figure out how to pronounce your name, my friend. So there's so much to do with, again, you know, the main thing that we're going to be digging at today is going to relate to some techniques that Ernst Wilhelm has specifically recently given in his line of videos. In particular, so let's take a quick peek back again at Charlie Sheen, because that's where we were at. There's all sorts of cool actors that we could look at here and have fun with. But let's take a peek at Charlie Sheen, the man who is always winning. And of course, my computer is brand spanking fresh and new, so it shouldn't be taking forever to get a chart happening. And that's not what we're seeing here. You guys aren't seeing it anyway. Ha ha ha. See? The pain is real. Charlie Sheen's chart would be definitely an interesting one to look at. Now, again, folks, keep in mind that we are doing chart readings today. So, for the moment, I'm just allowing some people to come in to join the live stream and to check out what exactly we're doing here. Unfortunately, my computer is exploding right now. So this would be Charlie Sheen's typical chart that we could see on, what would this be? Astro theme. We see he's got a Gemini rising in his Tropical Vedic chart. So most people know him as a Gemini rising. He's got Rahu right on the cusp of his first house, and a very poppin' Jupiter as his Atmakarka, hanging out in the first house where it likes to be. Hello there, MB, and hello there, Sandium. Vivishvan rising. So you are also Vivishvan rising, Sandium. Nice to meet a fellow Vivishvan. Now, MB, my friend, I can see that you are mentioning your chart and that you're ready for a reading. We're going to take a little bit. We're going to wait for some folks to kind of pile in before we start doing our official readings for the day. And we're also going to wait for my software to stop crapping out on me. I think it's just, this kind of happens, I think, when you get a new computer. Everything needs to recombobulate itself, as I like to say. It looks like we've got it going on here now, though. So let's just share. All right. So a nice thing about Kala software is that Ernst Wilhelm, I gotta do this again. Ernst Wilhelm has programmed it to have a whole bunch of great customization that I now have to do again. It is what it is. I'm over it. So, all of these little squares are different aspects of astrology that we can all look up. And this should be winking at everybody so that everybody can recognize just how profoundly, how would you say, customizable, just how deep astrology goes is really more of the point that I'm looking at here. All of these different charts are going to give us something different. Something that is going to, each one of these little panels is essentially going to reveal some important stuff about astrology. Let's go aspects, and then this guy should be dignities and Vargas. All right, now we got it. This is my usual setup here. Hello there, Layla Erickson. Thanks for getting your birth time in here. There will be a point when we're reading somebody's chart. I almost feel we've already got some folks going on here. Maybe we should just do that instead of looking at Charlie Sheen's chart. Hello, Melody Addict. It's nice to see you. We already got some people in here who have got their charts going on. So I'm thinking we might skip Charlie Sheen. Thanks for being there for us, Charlie. He's winning all the time. He can't possibly unwin. It's just in his character. But, because this took me forever to get this stuff going on here, now we're floating, now we're flying. I think we should jump in and start doing some charts since we already have some readers here. Now, Melody Addict, thank you for letting me know that you are not getting notifications when I do a video. So for Melody Addict and for everybody else who's interested, when you are a part of any YouTube channel, I think if I'm not mistaken, that there is a section where you can go to your subscriptions on the left. When you have subscribed, let's see, that would take you. Now, you'd go to a person's chart. This is a person's channel page, their YouTube channel page. What you would do is you would hit subscribed, the subscribed button, and a little bell should ring if you click all. Then anything that this person is doing, you should get a little subscription of some sort to know that something is happening at some point. This is a Dakota of Earth. If anybody knows him, he's quite the character. So I think you would go to the left and you'd click subscribe. Yeah, so hopefully, Melody Addict, hopefully that gets you a little bit closer to being able to see when I have new videos happening. Right? Of course, you can go to my own channel, and it's here that you can see when I'm doing live streams, but ultimately you go to your subscriptions, and then you would be able to do what you need to do to click that notifications button to make sure you're getting those notifications. And hopefully that would help. And for all those interested, As usual, when I do these readings, I like to lean into doing readings for my members of my channel. So members of my channel can usually get a little bit of a leg up. Now, for this first reading, we already have a few people here who have thrown in their birth time. Let's take a moment here. We got a few people watching. Now, everybody say here, say hello, let's do a little roll call. If you are here, if you are present, and you would like a reading, let me know. I know we already have a few names, but some people have been coming in and out. Layla Erickson, are you still here? Sebastian, are you still here? Sendiem, since you know your birth time, I'd be happy to do a reading for you as well. And MB is here as well. Hello there, Common Thread. Layla Erickson is present, and there's Melody Addict. Christopher, very well. So far from the roll call point, we have MB, Christopher, Layla Erickson, and Melody Addict. Sebastian, let me know if you're here as well. I'd be happy to do a reading for you as well. We do have people piling in. So for this first reading, we'll just do a free one. Let's just get started with a free reading for the day. And there is Sebastian as well. So what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to put all these names down. And yes, in fact, we've already been here for a half an hour. So let's do our first reading for the day. And I'm very happy to do so. Now, let's keep in mind, folks, that today, one of our intentions is to start going through some of the techniques that I've been practicing using the newly emerging methods given by my teacher, Ernst Wilhelm. If anybody does not know Ernst Wilhelm, he's this guy I was looking at here. He's the OG. He is the GOAT of modern Tropical Vedic Astrology. And he is our man who has been unfolding this wonderful new system. We could actually call it an old system. It's not necessarily new. It's how we would say, very likely, astrology would have been done in the Puranic era of the Vedas. So there's going to be some things here that folks won't recognize. But that is part of the fun of what we're doing. Yes. So the Adityas is a very exciting thing. Now, I'm going to get some names here. Let's see. We've got MB. We've got Chris. We've got Layla. Melody. And Sebastian. Melody, MB, Chris, Layla, and Sebastian. Robbie, let me know if you would like a reading today as well. For anybody who is just jumping in, we're probably going to start off with a free reading. Sometimes it happens that way. So if you are here, if you are just chiming in, and you would like a reading, say hello. You don't need to put your birth time in yet, but we are going to start with just a little bit of a roll call. Seeing who is here, who is willing to have a reading. So far, we have 5 willing guinea pigs, 5 willing victims of our new astrology techniques. Now, Sebastian is asking a good question, because to be honest with you, if somebody is willing, we should do it this way. And I thank you, Sebastian. There's a lot of times where I like to do a free reading. Hello there, Jennifer. Thanks, Layla. Now, Sebastian's making sense here. If people would like to do, let's do it this way. We're going to do it by donation basis. How I usually do this is to do kind of like an auction. So you know, an auction like, hey, we got 5 here, 5 here. You want to be good? Anybody go 5 here? But get $10, $10. Anybody else got 10? You got 10. Anybody else got 10? We got $15. If anybody wants to throw in a number for the moment, yes, I do use PayPal. PayPal, I'm going to give my link for my PayPal. Obviously, Sebastian's been watching me because Sebastian knows that I do these PayPal-based donations. Let's start at like, you know, like, let's start at $20. I should be advocating for my time here. So, Sebastian, my friend, let me know if you are okay with throwing in $20, and if so, just put the number 20 into our chat, or you can just go right directly in. You'll notice that in the chat box, I've put my little PayPal donation link. So let's do it this way. You know, this is how I've been wanting to do it. And as time goes on, this is the model that I'm moving towards. So, Sebastian, let me know. You can say 20 if it's worth it for you. Really, we could just technically start with anything. Put the number in that you would like to donate for our first reading for the day, folks. This is going to be auction style. I recommend we do it in the chat first. That way we don't have a whole bunch of people no worries, Layla. For all those interested, we will do a reading for our channel members, and it'll be not donation based. So channel membership is $3 a month. If you'd like to have your a chance for a reading for the channel members, we're going to do it probably after this. It will be $3 a month to join in for membership. You can just join in the channel. You'd be supporting me in what I do. And as well, you will get a chance to be higher ranked whenever we do these sorts of readings. And I thank everybody here who has been a part of this so far. So, Waheguru. Thanks, Gogo Pogo. It's nice to see you. Now, Layla, depending on how things go, I am happy to have you here. Stay in touch with me. We are probably going to do 3 readings today. That is the plan. But I like the idea of starting off with this donation basis. So, whatever you can donate for the moment is okay. But we're aiming for $20 minimum donation at the beginning. Let me know, Sebastian, if that is workable for you. Okay, we have $21 for Chris. That's 21. You got 21, I got 21. 21 here, 21 there, I got 21. Who else can do more than $21? So far, we have Christopher as being our first donation bid. Cool. What's nice, Christopher, is that you can feel free to garden, and I'm happy to have you chiming in and out when you can while we do this first reading. And we will be, you know, you can feel free to mention anything as we go along. You can feel free to ask questions during this reading because we are doing this donation basis. And Christopher, the PayPal link is there when we decide that you would be the first reader. So let's take a moment here, folks. We got to get doing these readings at some point. So let me know, Christopher. No worries, Layla. Okay, so Layla, if you'd like, you can work out later if you want to donate. If you want to throw in for another donation, Layla, you can pay me however you like through PayPal. You can do it now or you can do it later. If you would be interested in a reading, you can just say, you can say the next donation. But either way, it's looking for the moment like Christopher might be our first go. But we'll give it a moment. For those interested, the current donation is $21. And maybe I'll do it this way. 21 AE Common. So that is AE Common has made the highest bid donation so far. Let's, I don't want to chase this forever. So maybe we'll start with Christopher. $21 is a good donation. Let's start there. And I thank you, Chris, for chiming in and being a part of this. So, Christopher, it looks like you have our first bid. And I have your birth time here. Christopher is born in February in 1995. So what the heck, folks? Let's get going, because I just really am mostly interested in jumping in and doing some astrology here. Christopher, you have been chosen, and I can see that you have been checking out my channel for a little bit already. Let's get you started being our first reading for the day. Thank you for donating. Thank you for being a part of this living experiment. We've got February 27th, 1995. And Christopher was born at 11, nope, that'll be 23:37. No worries, Layla. There are times, Layla, when we do free readings, so feel free to keep your eyes and ears open. And thank you for hanging out with us and being part of our scene here. Now, Christopher was born... Christopher. Okay, what I need from you, Christopher, when you get a moment, is I'm going to look for your place of birth, Christopher. I have your birth date, but I do not have the birthplace. So let me know, Christopher, where you were born. And once we know where you were born, no worries, Chris. Awesome. Very happy to have you, Layla. You are going to be able to see what we do on my channel. Like I said, today we're going to be doing a little bit of experiment, but I'm going to do my best to give a worthwhile reading at the same time. Bridgeport, Connecticut. Thank you so much, Christopher. So, Christopher was born in the US of A. And this is Bridgeport, Connecticut. Let's see, what would be the state code for Connecticut? Let's check that out. You guys are probably going to tell me here. Abbreviations. Connecticut abbreviation. Does anybody know the Connecticut abbreviation? CT. Got it. We got it, ladies and gentlemen. So, that would be CT, Bridgeport, Connecticut. So what this would give us, let's start off with a little peek at the Tropical Vedic chart that you would be used to seeing. Thank you, Layla. Thank you very much. So, nice to be actually staring at an astrology chart. Can you guys see me? Yes, you can. Now, as always, folks, I'm going to say this. Let's do this in the beginning, just so we can be all prepared. This is How to Rock Astrology. Here we talk Neo-Vedic astrology. And there's lots still moving under the carpet in the world of Vedic astrology, as we all know. Today, I'm going to be practicing some techniques. I'm going to be looking for specific things, looking for things to dig into in order to see what is happening in the life experience of our friend Christopher, who has very generously donated to our reading today. And as always, I always like to say, I like to give this little caveat. So when we do astrology, we're doing it on a public forum, and our intention is not to bring your skeletons out into the closet for all to see. Our intention is to practice our passion for consciousness and the ancient mystical methods of astrology. So I'm going to be teaching today. This is going to be our main focus. And while I am teaching, there's so much groundwork to do just in talking about the Adityas. But today in particular, for my sake and for those watching, we are going to dig into some specific techniques that I've been learning from Ernst Wilhelm. So keep that in mind. If you're going to throw in for a reading, you are going to get a reading, but we're also going to be trying some techniques. Let's start getting into it. We're going to begin by taking a peek at Christopher, his Tropical Vedic Astrology chart. There's a lot of things. We're not going to spend much time on the Tropical Vedic chart because I am an Adityas guy now. This is my main thing. It's my main shtick. It's the thing that we're doing, that I'm doing. But I like to give a peek at the Tropical Vedic chart just so that everybody can see what's happening behind the curtain, and so we can get a resonance of the person's classical chart. So I usually do this with a timer. We're going to put it at a half an hour. We've got 30 minutes on our timer, and it'll usually go over a half an hour. I just want to be able to have a timer for when we started. We're 45 minutes in, and this is our first reading of the day. Congratulations to Christopher. Let us now rock and roll and get into our first reading. The time has started. Let's start digging into our expected techniques for the day. So, Christopher, what I have you here as is a Virgo rising in Tropical Vedic Astrology. And of course, you have the North Node. I actually have you as, I have you as Scorpio rising. I was just testing you. Something I'm going to want to do is minimize this a little bit. Maybe put it right here so that you guys can see the Navamsha chart. That would be important. Probably the best place to put this is going to be up here, because I can tell you guys the Charakaras. So yeah, okay. So now we are looking at our friend Christopher's chart here. Now there's many things unfolding in the world of the Adityas. Let's begin. Again, we have Scorpio rising. When you can, Christopher, thank you for your donation. I have received it, and I appreciate it dearly. When you get a moment, Christopher, let me know if you would say that you recognize yourself being a Scorpio rising. I just want to make sure I've got the correct birth information here, as sometimes it can be a little bit wonky, funky. And we have Rahu in the first house. Now, there's a lot of things when you go from your Tropical Vedic chart to the Adityas chart that are going to be different, and some things will be the same. For example, one of the big things that stays the same is the position of all the planets in the houses. That's probably one of the main things we can say that does not change. I had another piece of paper with all the other things, but that's okay. We have the Atmakaraka is a Venus Atmakaraka, just like me. I often get a lot of Venus Atmakaraka when I'm doing astrology. This person is going to be very similar to me, I can already tell. So we have Rahu in the first house. We have a conjunction, yeah, another similarity to me is the conjunction of Mercury and the Moon in the 4th house. We have Mars up here in the 10th house. We have the Sun and Saturn conjunct in the 5th house. And depending on what sign this is going to land on, it's going to be for better or worse. When we get to the Adityas, I can already see that this is an interesting chart. And this is going to give us a very good example of the things that we want to be working on here. Jupiter is in our 2nd house, and its inclinations are going to change when we go to the Adityas for sure. Now we can see that we have the planets in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different signs. We have 7 planets, and we have 2 conjunctions here, which means that there are 5 signs occupied. Now, this is a technique that I've been using in my work that you guys might recognize. Right away, it's interesting that we have 5 planets. We have the planets in 5 signs. Jupiter, Venus, and Mars are in their own signs. We have a conjunction here and a conjunction here. So that's 5 signs. Let's take a quick peek at what this would bring us to. And this, of course, would be what we call the noose. And that's Pasa Yoga. And this is when the planets are falling into 5 different signs. Now, when planets are falling into 5 signs, we generally consider it to be negative and positive. It's the classical Vedic texts give kind of opposite results for this. How Ernst Wilhelm describes it is that there's going to be good things and bad things in a yoga like this. And it shows that whatever you dedicate yourself, whatever you devote yourself to, is going to be very important in altering and changing your luck and your destiny. It's called a noose, Pasa, and that's when we have planets in 5 signs. The noose, it's a snare, it's a bond, it's a chain, and it refers to the noose as an attribute of Shiva or Yama. So I always say this, it's funny, so many of the charts that I get are Pasa Yoga, which is very interesting. The noose, it sounds like a freaky thing, but what it really is, when we understand yoga, what we're trying to do is get past our karma, to transcend our karma, in order to, have you ever heard of Shavasana? Shavasana means that you're dead. It's corpse pose. It means that my will has ended, and now the divine will of the universe is coming through me. The ego has died. That's the noose. That's Yama. Something has happened to us where we've been put into a situation where our ego has died because we're being forced into being conscripted to whatever's going on with Jupiter. So Jupiter is going to be very important in this person's chart. It has an emphasis that is worth mentioning, worth bringing to mind here. Now, another important thing I often do is going to be something called Mala Yoga and Sarpa Yoga. So Mala is when you've got benefics in the angles. Sarpa is when you've got malefics in the angles. So in this chart, we technically have 2 benefics, even though they are kind of, we could almost call them malefic. When the moon is behind the sun, it's a malefic. But in this celestial yogas, which is what these are, these celestial yogas, we could call them, they're Nabasa yogas. They represent foundational bricks in the structure of the classic Jyotish chart. It has to do with the shape of planet arrangements. And there's 3 main ones that we work with. There's Ashraya, which we're going to look at soon. There's the Dala petal yogas, and that shows whether there will be luck or difficulty in how the chart unfolds. That's based on benefics in the angles or malefics in the angles. And then we have Sankhya Yoga. It's the number of total rashis that all the planets are placed in. These are Nabhasa yogas. These are celestial formations. These are the first things that astrologers look at when they're doing a reading. So in this case, we have 2 benefics in an angle, and then we also have we have 2 benefics in angles, and then we have 1 malefic in this chart. We have Mercury and Moon in the 4th house, and we have Mars in the 10th house. There are more benefics in angles here. Rahu and Ketu don't count as planets when we're talking about those celestial yogas. So right away, we've got a good bit of positive luck to be expected for this person. There's Mala Yoga here. It shows that there is right away a little bit of good luck for this person. And that's a nice thing. Now, of course, the other main yogas that we're looking at is the Sankhya yogas. And that's when we have, in this case, we have planets in 5 different signs. So Jupiter is going to be strongly emphasized in this chart. So this has been our Tropical Vedic glimpse of the main things going on in this chart, as well as Venus Atmakarika. Venus is going to be your Atmakarika, whether you're using the Adityas or whatever you're using. This is all that I like to discuss when I am talking about the Tropical Vedic chart. The planets in their houses, the Dala Yoga. That's whether we have the luck of benefics and angles or the toughness of malefics and angles. And then Sankhya Yoga. This is the main stuff, and then the Atmakarika. It's the main stuff that I look at with Tropical Vedic Astrology, because this can all be transplanted into the Adityas. So, our friend Christopher here has known himself to be a Scorpio rising. Now, the next thing is we are going to start peeking at what happens when we change this chart to an Adityas chart. So now we're going to the South Indian style of chart, and we're going to look at the Adityas chart. And this is going to give us this next section of our reading. So in the South Indian chart, this might be something that not everybody is used to and familiar with. It's something that you gain a sense of over time. You can always tell the rising sign by these little double lines. In this case, in the bottom left corner of the chart, we have these double lines in the sign of Amshu, which is the bottom left corner, and this is where the Rahu is. So we still have Rahu in the 1st house. We have Jupiter is now debilitated in Bhagga, and that is going to be significant, considering Jupiter was considered to be such an important planet in the chart of this person. Jupiter is a little bit rough in Vimshopak. And as well, so Vimshopak is kind of the strength of a planet in its dignities in the Vargas. And for various reasons, Jupiter is shown to be a little tough in this chart in the 2nd house. But we really want to look at everything. We want to look at Lajatadya Vashtas in particular. That's a huge technique that we will tend to use when we're doing this type of astrology. Now, the sun should be considered to be... I think the first thing, because now I want to start looking at the techniques of the chart that I've been describing. So, Ernst Wilhelm, in his Adityas circle, he is very ecliptic driven, even more than the significance of the houses. What Ernst Wilhelm has been doing is looking at the significations of any sign that is considered to be the most important sign with the most stuff going on. It's a very sign-driven method that Ernst uses, and it is a very important grounding. And my opinion, and so far as I know, the opinion of who I've been working with Ernst in our crowd, astrology has become very focused on houses, especially ever since like the 1700s, 1800s. People started using the round wheel, and it took them out of the sense of the Rashis. People are really obsessed with houses in modern Western astrology. But the Vedic people always laid an emphasis on the Rashis and the signs. This is partly why Ernst Wilhelm has put so much emphasis on recapitulating the Rashis, the signs. So let's start taking a little look at what we can see in Christopher's chart as to what would be significant sign placements. One of the ways that we're going to do this is we're going to look where are there significant Lajjatadyavashtas happening. The big one in this chart, of course, we've got these two heavy conjunctions happening in the signs of Parjanya and in the signs of Tata. We have the moon and Mercury here in Parjanya. It's good for the moon because the moon's delighted by Mercury. But the moon here is a very dark moon, so this would definitely be agitating and starving the Mercury, this moon here. So Mercury's getting a kerplunk there. As well, Mercury would technically be considered to be debilitated in this chart. We could take a quick peek at Shadbala. We can see Mercury and Jupiter are the two planets that are regarded to have, it'd be worthwhile to get a grasp for Mercury and Jupiter in this chart. Whenever anything related to Jupiter and Mercury are happening for Christopher, whether it's by transit, whether it's by the nodes, this will be significant in what's to be expected for the playing out of things in Christopher's chart. This is highly relevant because we have an Amshu rising, which is ruled by Jupiter. Hey there, Ivy. Nice to see you. Our friend Christopher here has Amshu rising. We know that he has Pasa Yoga, which means there's planets falling into 5 signs, which gives more emphasis on Jupiter. And the North Node falls into Amshu. So, since the Lord of the North Node is signified to have a little bit of trickiness here, it's debilitated, it has some certain struggles that we can see. It's worth noting that themes related to Bhaga are going to be significant. Bhaga is the 10th sign. As well, themes related to Amshu are going to be significant. Amshu is the 9th sign. Now, right now, I'm just digesting because I want to do a deep dive in one of these Rashis to start showing our new techniques. I just want to make sure that I'm landing on the sign most worth mentioning. I think anybody that would see this chart would see that there's a lot going on in Data that would be worth speaking to. Technically, the sun is exalted in Data, so that's a good thing. But Saturn is debilitated in Data. It's getting whacked by this very strong exalted sun. And Saturn is actually shamed because this is happening in the 5th house. Hello there, Ivy. Thanks for chiming in. Just so you know, Ivy, we're currently doing a reading. We're going to go for about another 20 minutes, and then we'll be open to another reading. So anything going on with Saturn will be significant in this person's chart as well. Now, our friend Christopher here is born 1995. So you are 4 years younger than me. I am 34. So Christopher, it just turned 31. He'll be experiencing basically the maturation of Mercury this year. So already this year, that's something worth mentioning already. Christopher is dealing with the maturation of Mercury. And this would be a bit of a kick in the ass because Mercury has the significations that it does in this chart. It's debilitated, it's starved by the moon. You know, Mercury and Jupiter and Saturn are the three tough planets in this chart, worth being aware of and worth mentioning. Now, before we start, it is worth saying that we actually have a very happy Venus in this chart. Venus is the Atmakaraka. So it really goes to show that, sometimes you got to lean in where your bread is buttered. And the significance of Venus as the Atmakaraka falling into Pushan is going to give an emphasis of Pushan as well. For our sake, there's a few things that would be worth looking at in a reading like this. A big one would be the nodes. Especially because Mercury is maturing this year. It would probably be significant for us to talk a little bit about what's happening with Mercury and what's happening with Mitra. Obviously, this person has Mitra in the south node in Mitra, and that's the third sign. Mercury in Parjanya is making me think that we should probably first focus on Parjanya. So I appreciate you guys. As you can see, because this is what I do in my channel, I like to narrow down to what would be the most significant thing to talk about. In the case of our friend Christopher here, I'm inclined to talk a little bit about what's happening with Mercury. So the first thing to be said is Mercury falls in Parjanya, which means, and the moon is here too. Now, Mercury is starved by the moon in this chart. What's going on there? Mercury is in the sign that is with the moon, and the moon is a dark moon. Whenever the moon is dark, it's going to almost be considered in a way to be a malefic. And so, since this is an enemy who's a malefic that's conjunct this Mercury, it's technically going to be agitating to the Mercury, which means while Mercury is maturing this year, it happens when we're age 31. Technically, at age 32, Mercury has considered to have gone through the maturation process. The year that a planet matures is always a sort of like a bit of an ass kick, really. Now, if you have good things with that planet, getting it together is going to be like, oh, this is this important thing that I've always had in my back pocket, and I have the talents and skills to use this planet, and I should be taking advantage of it. And life is going to push you to take advantage of the good things happening with that planet. If you have a little bit of a tough Mercury, like we can see in this chart, the signification is that life is going to throw things at you, which is going to get you to comprehend how you've been using this planet wrong, or what you haven't been doing with this planet. For us men, Mercury is really, for everybody, for men and women, Mercury is an important relationship planet. It's important to be able to deal with relationships properly through communication. And when Mercury is starved and agitated by the moon, it's in the fourth house here, which is going to give a little bit more significations of tough stuff happening in the fourth house. It's likely that this debilitated Mercury that's starved by the moon is going to give some difficulty in the realm of the fourth house. The fourth house is our private quarters. It's our happiness we have at home with the people we love. It's very possible that romantic inclinations and even personal happiness, there's probably an important dimension of your personal happiness that you find the moon is eating. What this usually signifies when the moon is starving Mercury, as we see in this chart, the moon is with Mercury in the fourth house of Parjanya. Parjanya is the 12th sign. It's going to especially relate to clouds. Parjanya is the lord of rain. even more than Indra. Indra is the thunder, the lightning that brings the rain, but Parjanya is clouds. And like the demon Vritra, who held the clouds of emotion, and then Indra had to come and slay that beast so that the rain could be released. Parjanya is clouds that are over top of, that are hiding the sun. So Parjanya is going to relate with psychological maladies. This Mercury being starved by the moon would signify that the moon is lovesick. And this is a moon which desires so strongly to connect with people that it might have a hard time connecting with and communicating with people in an open, in a developing adult way. The moon is considered to be the child mind, along with Mars. The moon as the child mind being an enemy to Mercury. This means the child mind is starving the adult mind. And if I was to put a particular little diagram here so you guys can see where this comes from, this is considered to be Ernst Wilhelm's parent-adult-child astrology. All of the planets have a role in the psyche, which relates really strongly to early, it's what's called inner family systems. The moon and Mars are the child mind. And then we have the adult mind, which is Mercury, Venus, and Saturn. And then we have the parent mind. The child mind just is kind of crazy. It just wants what it wants. It has needs. And the parent mind is negating. Parent mind is like, I don't need these things. I want to struggle. I want to be disciplined and snap to and do what I have to do. It's the adult planets that are the most significant in our chart. Now, in this chart, we have Mercury and Jupiter as adult planets are having some difficulty, but we have a good Venus. And that Venus is going to really be an important saving grace for our friend Christopher when it comes to developing true, deep, mature relationships with people, as well as developing a true, deep, mature relationship with one's own soul. Because that's really what these adult planets are doing. And of course, there is a flow here. Mercury is the developing adult mind. Venus is the sort of, we could almost say Mercury is Brahma, Venus is Vishnu, and Jupiter is Shiva. Venus has a way of really expanding deeply, maturely on any relationship that it has. Venus is the saving grace in this chart. Your ability to be lovely. Someone asked earlier, what gives me my lovely, calm qualities when I do readings, and just my voice, my character in general. I get a lot of good things because, like our friend Christopher here, I have a very good Venus. So Venus is a saving grace in this chart, but in order for him, Christopher, to take the best advantage of his ability to deepen a relationship, he has to get into relationships first, and he has to develop them. And this is the tricky thing with this chart, is that Mercury, being the developing adult planet, Mercury would have had difficulty probably at the age of Mercury, from age 3 to 12. So it'd be good for Christopher to think about how from age 3 to 12, there might have been difficulties that you would have experienced, Christopher, in the way of becoming a communicating young prince. Mercury says anything, says whatever on its mind, is very open-minded. When the moon is conjunct Mercury, usually what can happen is I actually have the same thing. And I've done a lot of contemplating it and meditating on it. The lovesick moon is essentially going to eat the Mercury. And a lot of the times what this usually means is, you see, Mercury wants to try the pie before it buys. It wants to be like Buddha. The Sanskrit name for Mercury is Buddhi, which means it wants to see everything with an open mind. Because the moon, though, the moon is lovesick. The moon, okay, cool. The moon is lovesick, and it's eating the open-mindedness of Mercury. The best example I like to give with Mercury is it should be like this. If you're having a wedding and you need to get a wedding dress, you only get one wedding, ideally. Not these days, but this wedding is a big important thing, which means you want to look the best. This is usually for a woman's psyche. You know, a woman wants a very good, nice wedding dress. So you go to the wedding place who has wedding dresses, and they give you one wedding dress. They've got a line of 7. Now you, with the moon eating Mercury, you're going to put on your first wedding dress to try it, because you should try all of them. That's the key, is that you should try all the options that are available to you. But the moon is going to put on the first wedding dress and say, I just want this to happen. This, I feel myself. Look, oh my God, this is me in my wedding dress. Oh my God, you get stars in your eyes. And the person beside you is like, you know, the person who owns the wedding dress store. It's like, yeah, it looks great, doesn't it? Well, you know, while you're here, let's try on another wedding dress. And you're just like, oh, wait a minute. Let me just look at how beautiful I look in this. And the person's like, yeah, I know, but like, you should try them all. A good Mercury will put on the first wedding dress, try it, and be like, good. Now let me try the second dress. Let me try the third dress. Let me try the fourth dress. Let me try the fifth dress. You get 5 dresses in, you try them all on. Even if the first dress is the right dress, you still want to try the other 5. So when you're standing there on your wedding day, you can think in your head, I know this is the right one because I tried all the other ones. There's no doubt in your mind. Because of all the wedding dresses there, you tried them all, this is the correct one. Maybe even you picked the first or the second dress. Gave it a lot of time to digest, try them at different angles, asked your friends about it. This is all Mercury stuff. How does this work with my friends? What do they think? Should I have the shawl thing, or should I have like the long tail? What do my friends think? Take pictures of it. Show it to your friends. Your friend's like, oh, this is so you. Let's pick the second dress. That's my phone. That's my phone alarm going, but I want to finish this. Now, imagine the same thing in relationships, especially because Mercury is falling in the 4th house here. You want to try the pie before you buy. You want to, when you have a lover, you don't want to just think, oh, you know, the moon and Mercury conjunct, the person can get into a sort of like a love at first sight. It's like, oh, this is my soulmate. I can tell. I can see it in their eyes. This is going to be my soulmate. But that feeling that, oh, I'm just going to skip a beat and allow myself to be taken by this, it doesn't allow you to maturely develop on this relationship. Now, Juju Cakes, I can see you're asked a question here. We are going to be doing more charts in probably 10 minutes, something like that, 10 or 15. We've hardly gotten into the techniques I want to do, but this is the nature of my readings. But this is a very clear chart going on here. This Mercury being starved and agitated and eaten by the moon. This is a Mercury that feels frustrated that, you know, it's very possible when Christopher was from age 3 to 12, the moon, there was like a need, a lack of nurturing that might have come from the parents at an early age, in the age of the moon. It's very possible, Christopher, I would like you to consider the possibility that the moon itself in the 4th house, you might have had experiences at a very early age that you're not getting enough love from your parents, from your caregivers, from your friends at that age. You know, it's such a young age that things get burned into your brain in a very hypnagogic way that only in some ways it's possible that hypnosis would be a way for you to see it in context. This is good stuff for therapy. This is a good replacement for therapy. Everybody should do therapy, especially anybody with deep logitative avashtas like this. I highly recommend an IFS practitioner, because you might be feeling that there is an unconscious force inside of you that might feel abandoned, might feel like I'm not going to get enough love. And this pushes you to just jump into the first relationship you see, try on the first wedding dress and just buy it and don't ask second questions. Because as soon as you get loving romantic feelings, especially from somebody, you're going to feel like, oh my God, this is the most important thing in my life. I've never had this. And it's probably because you don't normally think about developing healthy adult mature relationships in your everyday life. Your Mercury might not manage your emotions and your romantic feelings in the correct way, in this way, because of this. Now, the technique that I would have really liked to dig into is speaking to Parjanya. And I kind of want to speak a little bit to this before we go on to our next person. But this is an example of the kind of work that I'm moving into with this astrology stuff that I'm doing. The next thing to speak to is, first of all, let's take a quick look at Parjanya. Parjanya is the soft rain that awakens consciousness. The god of rain who fertilizes worlds and liberates growth. It's the love of conscious growth through acceptance and receptivity. It's very likely, what's really likely here is that, you see, Parjanya really works best when it almost has to act in a way healthily. There would be a necessity to it. It needs to be able to account for itself. It needs to be able to account for its own love, its own desires. It's what its own personal needs are. Parjanya, Amshu is the fire side of Jupiter. Parjanya is the water side of Jupiter. The water side of Jupiter knows what it likes to drink. And the ideal here is that whenever there's a Lajitadiya Vashta that's messing with Parjanya, it shows that this is a person who has not, through Mercury, fully developed a mature adult understanding of what makes them happy. Awesome. Thanks, Christopher. You might not put enough time into talking with your friends, it's very possible when you were young that your parents, if you were to talk with your parents about like what makes me happy, what makes me delighted in my own personal seeking of love, it's very possible that your parents might not have had that themselves. Your parents might have been very like, I need to love. Your parents might reflect some of what we're talking about, which is the lovesick moon eating analytical Mercury. Buddhi. Remember, Mercury means buddhi. Think of the Buddha. The Buddha's whole thing is experience what you've got to experience so you can get out of, you can wipe the grime off of the mirror. Because your soul, your idea of what's good for your happiness is already here and it's already perfect. And we all need to wipe the mirror of our samskaras, of our ancestral, generational, psychological nurturing that caused us to think that life is a certain way when our soul actually has an idea that's beyond that. Mercury needs to be the one that decides this is real and this is not real. This is true for me and this is not true for me. But you might not have been encouraged to have that discernment when you were at a very young age. And if you were to talk with your parents about like what would make me happy, how would they do it? Well, they would have to think inside of their brains, well, what makes me happy? If a father or a mother is teaching their son, this is what you need to do to be truly happy. It's, they would need to understand what happiness is before they can do that. And they would need to understand their own happiness, particularly the mother, because this is happening in the 4th house. It's relating to the moon. It would be significant and important for you to, to talk with your mother about what kind of clouds are stopping me from having emotional growth. But in order to do that, she would need to have her own sense of emotional growth. Now, what's interesting and a little bit tricky about Mercury being in Parjanya, let's take a little peek at the critical signs of, I don't know what's happening there, of Parjanya. What we're going to look at here is a little bit of chart structure. Can you guys see me here? Hopefully, yeah. All right. So this is Parjanya. Anything happening in Pushan is going to be important for Parjanya, because the critical house, for everybody watching, a very critical house for every sign, is the house which is a number of signs away that relates to the sign in question. Parjanya is the 12th sign. So we're going to look at the space that's 12 signs away from Parjanya, which is, of course, one sign behind. And that is Pushan. Pushan is ruled by Saturn. And you have your nice, happy Venus here. So really, again, my friend, especially because Venus is such a love planet, I really invite you to consider that Venus themes are really going to help what's going on with this Mercury. And Venus is really all about self-reflection. It's a little hand mirror. Your niceness, you're a Venus Atmakaraka like me, your Venus has a sense of, over time, it's almost like you have a psychological sense of what makes every human happy. Venus in Pushan is delighted by Saturn. It doesn't need too much to be happy. And it likes to serve others. It likes to go out and you probably have things that allow you to go and do things for people, and you gain joy from it. And people enjoy you. You have a delighted Venus. People enjoy who you are and how you are. And this is one way that allows you to stew on the Mercury debilitation here and starvation. So the sign of Pushan is going to be helpful in dealing with this tricky Mercury. Helping people, being a humanitarian person. Thinking about what you can do for your community. Thinking about when somebody has a specific need that you know is a universal need that you can help them with. Like when somebody's moving. They just need extra hands to help put things in boxes. Let them use your car or your truck to help things from point A to point B. That person will remember that you did that, make a connection with you, love you for it. And this is the kind of thing where, they can talk with you about what is your happiness all about. So doing things for people, using your sweetness of Venus is going to help you to find the happiness that Mercury has not been able to work out consciously, to digest, to discern, to think about. Because that's what Mercury needs to do here. Essentially, at age 31, your Mercury is maturing this year. Life is going to push you to think about ways that you need emotional happiness that you have not been thinking about. What kind of psychological barriers and clouds are inside of you that you have not digested that's stopping you from having proper emotional intimacy in your life? Now, let's do one more quick thing here, just so everyone can see where we're going with this. Parjanya is ruled by Jupiter. It's the 12th sign. Jupiter is exalted in Varuna. That's the 5th sign from Parjanya. Parjanya's lord Jupiter is debilitated in Pagha. And in fact, what's a little tricky in this chart is that you have Jupiter in Bhaga, debilitated. So whenever you are thinking about what's the best way for you to deal with this Mercury in Parjanya, if you want to understand Parjanya, if you want to understand how to bring this Mercury, how to remove the clouds from the sky so that the sun of your true happiness can shine, your strength, your psychological strength, how can you start to grow? One of the things that you're going to have to do is think romantically. To think in a way that is romantic, because that's the 5th house. You really want to think about how you can give yourself to a person. This is a very Parjanya thing. How can you give yourself to a loved one? What would you have to offer? And what do you need to move around in your life in order to have this kind of love? And it doesn't need to necessarily be relationships. It's more about just having general, deep soul connections with people. The 5th house from Parjanya is going to relate with this, with the moon, with Varuna. How can you essentially, I'm thinking of like Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. They talk about how the farmers back in the day had these irrigation systems. And if you wanted to let water go into a field, you had to break the dam and let the water pour out into this new field that has been in a drought. You have to take your emotional consciousness. What are the things you think about emotionally and do emotionally? Like you got to watch out for porn addiction. You got to watch out for, even with Parjanya, like substances, porn addiction, the Matrix. Things that are just like, I'm getting my sweet tooth. I'm getting the sense of the moon's lovesickness. Because the moon is lovesick. So don't go and get an AI girlfriend who you can type and they type back to you and it's like, oh my God, I'm getting this sense that I never got enough of, which is I'm getting an emotional reaction out of this AI girlfriend. That kind of fakeness is something that you have to watch out for. Even getting, pushing yourself to be in an 11th house way, a rock star. Or you might put a lot of energy into, I want people to like me, so I'm going to put it in an 11th house way. That is where Parjanya is debilitated. Parjanya is debilitated in its own 11th house. So the sense is, I am trying to be seen by everybody. I want to develop money. I want to get gains. I want to work really hard. I want to have a successful career. I want to be a success. And that way people will love me. That is where Parjanya goes awry. If you really want to develop emotional growth, you have to do the hard fucking thing of just digging into other people, thinking about how you can be creative with them, even romantic with them, to have a sort of soul romance. And this could be with anybody. It can be with your parents. It doesn't have to mean romantic in the sense of like, I want to get married to this person. It's the feeling that this person is in my soul and I want to nurture them and play with them, have fun with them. This is a person who you think of, like you watch something on YouTube, you're like a song that you love and you think like, oh, mom would love this. Mom would love this song. I know she listened to all these types of music. I'm going to send this to her. And it's been made so much more special that you've developed a connection with your mother by thinking about her. And then she's going to think about you when she's watching another video and says, oh, Christopher, check this out. It's belonging on planet Earth because of these. It's a 5th house romantic connection that you need to have with people, as opposed to an 11th house one. The 5th house nature of Parjanya is going to pull you into true emotional depth and intimacy. The 11th house from Parjanya, you have to think of it as that if you really want to break those irrigation barriers and pour heartfelt love into people and really connect with them, you can't do it for your own sense of egotistical image building. You can't build an image and hope people are going to make an emotional connection with you and think that they're going to emotionally grow with you. If you want people to emotionally grow with you, you have to make the connection of the type of love that you truly want and experiment with it. Explore it. Do the Mercury thing. Do the Buddhi thing. Do the Buddha thing, which is to experiment with your consciousness, feel things that are uncomfortable, and do it with commitments to people who mean something to you. If you don't do this, well, Mercury's going to kick your ass this year to do these things, to make you think about how have you been ignoring this kind of emotional intimacy. Yeah, that felt good. That went where I wanted it to. I hope you feel the same way, Christopher. You know, folks, like, I know that it is what it is. You know, we're using a new tarot deck here. By talking about Parjanya and all of these things, there is a wink. There is a way to understand. There is a way to understand these new Aditya symbols. What my teacher has advised me is just to say, just get out of... Most times when Ernst Wilhelm does readings for people, he doesn't he doesn't necessarily teach it when he's doing it. People come to him and say, hey, I got a problem. And then he looks and finds the problem and talks about it. And he doesn't get into the themes and symbols like I necessarily am here. But we are teaching astrology here. Now, ultimately, the main thing is for us to do the therapy work for our client, for the people who are wondering, find the critical juncture, the critical point, and see how we can dig into it. You've essentially experimented with both and can see what I'm saying and notice the feeling that comes from both. Excellent. So you probably mean the Varuna moon connection of an emotional intimacy with somebody versus the Saturn way of, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to develop emotional growth myself. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to show everybody that I can show up to work and make money and go further up my company career. It's all bhagga stuff, the 10th sign. That's where Jupiter's debilitated, in the 10th sign. Jupiter is exalted in the 4th sign, Varuna. Jupiter does better in Parjanya. The liberation of anything in Parjanya is going to do better when you're making a true, deep emotional connection to people, to a soul, and not just an idea. Cool. Great. Christopher, my friend. Thank you very much, Christopher, for being my guinea pig. I feel this has been, this is doing the thing that I wanted to do. So let's give a nice little golf clap. Very well done, Christopher. Thank you for sharing your chart. Thank you for sharing your birth time, your birth data. Thank you for sharing your time while you're gardening. You have this video up here. I got no plans of taking it off. You can revisit this anytime and get a little peek into this one dimension of your chart, which is this this Mercury issue, this thing related to Mercury, the emotional connection that you're trying to attain, to relieve from the condition of the moon starving Mercury. You always have this video here whenever you want to observe it again. And thank you very much for being a part of this. Now, my pleasure, Christopher. I really appreciate you being a part of it. Now let's do a bathroom break, folks. Then we're going to talk a little bit about what we just went through, what we're looking at with these techniques, and maybe we'll do one more reading. So for everybody here, if you've been hanging out, if you've been listening, we are going to do another reading today, ideally. But let's do a bathroom break. I'm going to do the number one, the quick one, and then when we come back, we're going to continue on with our show. So I'll see you guys in just a moment. Oh man, you know what I should do? Got 5 people on here. I have some chocolate I want to get. I'm gonna go get it. I'll be back. Chocolate. I got some fancy human chocolate. Vanilla bean, dark chocolate with cashew butter. Don't mind if I don't. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have officially started getting your first peek into the new world. There's lots here. Lots to digest. Ernst Wilhelm is really putting his foot forward with teaching this Adityas stuff. And as we can see, one of the main focuses that I wanted to focus on today is what we call a renaissance of ecliptic-centered astrology. The ecliptic, the solar ecliptic is essentially the signs, the 12 signs of the zodiac. The signs are the body of the Purusha, the cosmic Purusha, which is the cosmic person. So, there is much dirt and earth and soil of the psyche that we realize that we explore when we get into an ecliptic-centered astrology. Very much astrology these days is centered on the houses. It's centered on what's happening in a sign, what is happening. Sorry, I meant to say a house, not a sign. It's centered on the planets. A lot of Western astrology, the aspects between planets. Not that those things are not significant, but there has been in modern times, your average astrologer has been drifting away from the old ancient emphasis on the whole sign houses and on the signs themselves, the ecliptic, the divisions of the ecliptic. Ernst Wilhelm's world is really a renaissance in focusing and reintegrating the once more preeminent emphasis on the signs, And I'm hoping that by showing for this example with Parjanya that we saw with our friend Christopher here, just how powerful it can be when we start considering particularly the critical house from a sign and also the exaltation and debilitation points. It will become to be known that this is a very dire and critical aspect of giving ourselves psychological tools that we can use to reflect on what's happened in our lives, on the memory that we have. Because we have these planets and they're got these Lajatati Vashas, they got things going on there. But it's the signs are the foil that we remember. The signs are the psychological foil that me as an astrologer, I can talk with my client about. You have Mercury, Moon, conjunct in a chart. There's going to be, the Moon starving Mercury there. But where do you remember it through? The real psychological edge is when you talk about the sign that these things are falling into. That is the place where you can most bring out the foil. My computer crapped out on me for a second there. And this is an important renaissance for everybody in today's time. And I hope that this is showing this. Now, we're almost at the top of our second hour. And, I have the intention of at least doing one more reading today. So who's here and who would like a reading? For all those who are here and paying attention, it would be good for us to do one more for me to practice. So let's see what everybody thinks. Who is here? Let's do a little roll call. If you're present and you're interested in getting a reading, you have the chance to do so today. Hey there, Ivy. It's nice to see you. We have Ivy Max here, who has volunteered to possibly get a reading. Is there anybody else here who is watching live who would be interested? Okay, Gunmetal Crow. I would usually do channel members, focusing on channel members. It would make sense for me to do that because my channel members support me in my work. But we don't have too many people here today. So I might just pick a number between Ivy and Gunmetal Crow. And I'm going to remember that Gunmetal Crow, I think I've been wanting to do a reading for Gunmetal Crow. Let me think. It might be worthwhile for me to say this because it would be fair to Gunmetal Crow because I've been wanting to do a reading for you. Now, Ivy Max, I can see you are watching and hanging out with us. I think you mentioned that you were from Uganda, or you're at least born there. Yeah, you're born in Uganda. Ivy, is it possible for you? Yeah, you'd be down? All right. So Ivy, as you can see, I have a channel membership. And my friend Gunmetal Crow here, you know that they're a member because their name is green. Now, I think that it's what makes most sense for me at this moment. And, it's good for me to support my patrons because they support me. Now, Ivy, if you are interested, you yourself can also join for membership as well. I think I'm going to lean into this. Whoever is here and watching, we are next going to do a membership-oriented reading, which means whoever is here and is a member of my channel will now get a chance for a free reading here on my channel today. Now, if anybody is interested in doing so, What you can do is you can go onto my channel, and there will be a little button that says join. And by joining, you would join me in my community. And it's about $3 a month for channel membership, which fans like Gunmetal Crow have been paying for a while. And if you join as a member, Ivy, then I will choose between you, we'll pick a number between yourself and Gunmetal Crow. Let me know if you have trouble joining. But it is good for me to do this because not only is it good for me to advocate for myself and for the time that I put into these readings. You know, my members are patrons, and it's good for me to support them back for the support that they give me. So Ivy, if you're hearing this, let me know if you're interested in this, Ivy. If you want to be a channel member, if you're having trouble with it, let me know. But if you're ultimately interested, let me know, and I'll give you a chance for a reading today. So for everybody watching, this is our channel membership section. If you are a channel member, let me join. It's definitely fair to... Cool. Thanks, Ivy. So we're going to give Ivy Max a moment to join in our channel membership. Now again, Ivy, if you're on your phone, however it is that you've gotten on here to join us today, you'll go to my channel, my YouTube channel. It's How to Rock Astrology. As you can see it probably on your screen, you can just go to the main channel page, and somewhere on there will be a button that says join. By joining, you are supporting me, and you will get a chance at times like this. Whenever we're doing readings, I do like to give a reading to my channel members who support me. So you would join once again by hitting that join button. It's $3 a month, and I appreciate all the support for that. This will be our last reading for the day, I would say, unless we have a whole bunch of people at the end of this one, which sometimes does happen. I'm open to it. I'm very happy and on fire, and very happy to be exploring these astrology techniques that I've been sharing with everybody here. So we're going to give Ivy Max just a moment to see if they can join in with our channel membership. Let me know if you have any trouble, Ivy. Sometimes some people can have some funky troubles with it. It can kind of go back and forth, I guess, from what I've seen. Usually it turns out pretty okay, though. And then from there, we shall choose our next victim on this show. For now, I'm going to put Gunmetal Crow in our queue line. And we'll give just a little bit of time for Ivy here. Oh, look at this. Ivy, congratulations. You have joined in the crew. Now you can see you've got those little seeds beside your name. That's because you've just joined in, and you can see the longer that you've been a member, you will get your little plant to be growing. And that's why Gunmetal Crow has got his little 3-leaf sprout there. So congratulations, Ivy. It's a pleasure to have you aboard. It's a pleasure to have you as part of our channel membership. Now, Axhaz, you of course can join as well. Now, let's give Axhaz a moment to join for membership as well. Now, Axhaz, you would join on our membership. It'll be a little bit different, whether it's on your phone that you're using or on a desktop. You would go to my channel, How to Rock Astrology, and what you're going to look for is a little join button. It's usually somewhere beside the memberships. By clicking join, it'll give you an option to join in. Once again, membership is about $3 per month. You're supporting me, and you're getting a chance at moments like this to get a reading as for your membership. So we are now on our membership readings, folks. If you're just joining in, our friend Axhaz has asked to join, and we're giving Axhaz a moment to join in for the membership. If you join in today as a member, you get a chance for this free reading. We already have Gunmetal Crow and Ivy in the queue line for a reading. What we're going to do is we're going to pick a number between 1 and whatever. I'm just going to pick a number, and then we're going to go down the list and land on the person, whoever is on that number. So for the moment, we're going to give Axhaz a few moments to be able to join. Hopefully it's not too much hassle for you, Axhaz. And anybody else who's interested in joining the membership, again, it's $3 per month. It'll give you an opportunity in moments like this to join and to be considered for a reading. That is the nice thing about membership on this channel. So let me know, Axhaz, when you have a moment for yourself, when you have joined in. This is once again, this is our channel membership section of the show. I know I keep saying it a million times. I'm saying it because some people are coming in and out. So just for those who might be interested. Channel membership grants you the opportunity to get a free reading in moments like this. So for those who are interested in joining, now is your chance. Currently abroad, it doesn't match up with your iTunes store. Okay, no problem, Axhaz. Thank you so much. We would love to have you as a member. I knew things like that. Things can be funny with YouTube. So no problem, Axhaz. Thank you for offering. And you can feel free to hang out and watch what's going on. The more you watch these videos, the more you're going to get a sense of what to expect when you do get a reading. There will be times when I do readings on offer. If we have enough people at the end of this today, in about 40 minutes or so, we might have time for another reading. I'm not going to tease you with it because it's a nice day outside, but these things do happen. So for now, thanks, Axhaz, for being a part of our show. At the moment, we have Gunmetal Crow and Ivy Max, who are our 2 members who now have a chance to get a free reading today. This is our membership reading. We have 2 people. I'm going to pick a number. I usually would go with something like, we got 2 people, so I'm going to go with the number 23. And I'm going to go from the bottom. We are now picking our next volunteer. Oh, hello, Buhotero. How nice to see you. Buhotero. Have you been a member for a while, Buhotero? For some reason, it's not showing me when I have new members right now, which is, it usually is like new member, but that's okay. Buhotero, I think I might have seen you in our last reading, but I digress. Very happy to have you, Buho. You are now on the list for a free reading. Congratulations. Oh, awesome. You just joined. Well, it's a pleasure to have you, Buhotero. So thank you so much for being a part of this. We now have 3 channel members who are vying for a chance for our next reading today, where we're going to dig into more of these Adityas techniques. So now I'm going to pick a larger number. Now I'm going to say, you know what's a number I never do is 31. It's a weird one. Let's see. Today's Thursday. Let's do a number that adds up to 5. Let's do 32. We're going to go with 32 today as the number And I'm gonna say 32. I'm gonna move through the 3 people that we have. Hello there, Rose. Just so you know, Rose, we are about to pick our next reading, and our next reading is for channel members. We have 3 channel members who have an opportunity to get a reading today. You know, I'm always open to more people joining, Rose. So if you are interested in being a part of this, this is what you get as one of the bonuses of being a channel member. Not only do you support me, but you will get a moment when I do these live streams to get a free reading. Well, you know, for the $3 per month that you pay to be a member. So Rose, if you're interested in that, let me know. We are just about to choose our next victim. We're just about to choose our next volunteer chart. So if you are interested in that, let me know. Otherwise, we have our number 32. Because it's a Jupiter day. Cool, Rose. Thank you, my dear. Feel free to hang out, and thank you for saying hello. All right, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. I've picked the number 32. We have 3 members. I'm going to go from the bottom and go up on the list. And 32 is a number that resonates with Jupiter, because today's Thursday. So starting on the bottom, I'm going to pick now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Congratulations to one of our newest members who has just recently joined. Who I have landed on today is a member that has just joined in, our friend Ivy. Congratulations, Ivy Max. You have been chosen as our next victim on the show. Thank you to everybody who has been here. Thank you to Gunmetal Crow and to Buho Tarot for hanging out, for your patronage of your membership. And feel free to keep hanging out. I got Gunmetal Crow on my brain because this person has been with us for a long time, and I haven't done an Adityas reading for you yet, Gunmetal Crow. So I see you. I got you. I got to get you in here at some point. But I think it is good for us to be fair with everybody who's joining in with this membership. So congratulations, Ivy Max. Awesome. Awesome, Gunmetal Crow. And thank you to Buho Tarot as well for being a part of this as well. And everybody here. Ivy Max, you have been chosen. Now, remember, when we do these readings, as I always like to say, it's important to know that our intention here is not to drag your skeletons out of the closet on this public forum to show everybody all the yucky beetles that live under your bed. But it's useful in astrology. We're here to heal. We're here to gain self-reflection. We're here to work towards cosmic realization. So we will rattle some bones. And if we say anything that you don't want to speak to, Ivy, you don't have to. If there's any place that we go to that you don't want to speak to, you can say nothing and I'll probably move along. Or you can specifically say, I'm not comfortable with this. And we will move around and do our best to cater to what you are ultimately seeking in this reading. Now, with readings like this, especially if they're donation readings, for a friend Chris, he gave a donation, and I really tried to give something to him. Cool. Thanks, Ivy. Ivy is open to all things. We are teaching here. I am doing my best to describe the techniques given by my teacher, Ernst Wilhelm, in his study of his system that he calls the Adityas circle. So we will be moving through techniques. I usually am going to show the Tropical Vedic chart. We're going to do a few Nabasa yogas. And then we're going to go into the Adityas reading proper. And this time I'm going to try to really, for the sake of it, we'll do a quick flash of the Nabasas, and then we're going to dig into some Aditya techniques because I need to practice them. And it's good for all of us to dive fully into what we're doing here. So, Ivy, I think that I have your birth information in here. Let me just check. I've got your time. 29th of September, 1998, Kampala, Uganda. And I have your birth time as 7:44. Let me know, Ivy, if you identify with any particular gender. As well, if you have any romantic orientations that you'd like to express. I'm an LGBTQ plus two-spirit ally. I'm bisexual myself technically, but I lean more towards women these days in my romantic and even sexual interests. But I like to say I'm bisexual because it's where I'm at in my philosophy. So I am open to all sorts of people. But if if you consider yourself to have any particular pronouns and are oriented anyway, it can be useful for us because the energetic gender that you align with is in astrology. There's the odd signs, which are male. There's the even signs, which are feminine. And these energies do play a part in how you approach whatever romantic interest that you're into and that you identify with. After all healing is just magnetism of the yin and yang. So, let's get started here. Let's go into a new birth chart, and this is going to be Ivy Max. Okay. Hetero for now. Perfect. Thank you, Ivy. So Ivy is a lady. Thank you very much. Born in the year of the Earth Tiger. I love the tiger vibes. We have the 29th of September. So September 29th, 1998. And that was 1944-00. Born in Uganda. Oops, not Ukraine, Uganda. And the spot was Kampala. Kampala district. Yeah, it looks like Kampala is all the same spot here. Okay, good. All right, first thing I want to do is get back to tropical, maybe take a peek in the chart screen, the round wheel. This is the wheel that most people are used to looking at. Okay, Ivy. Now, for the moment, Ivy, just let me know, in your Tropical Vedic Astrology chart, I don't know if you've done much astrology, do you recognize yourself to be a Aries rising? Let me know if that's the case. It's nice for me to check. Can you see me here? No, you can't, of course. See, there's sometimes I have to press a button in order to share my screen. And there's sometimes when I'm like, oh, you guys can see what's going on. And then I look at me and it's like, oh, you guys have been looking at my ugly mug this whole time. So now you can see the chart. Yes, you do operate on Aries rising in your Tropical Astrology chart. So now we are going to take a peek here. Yes, we are reading Ivy's chart at the moment, Robbie. Correcto mundo. Now, we haven't started the timer yet. We have the correct birth time. Ivy does resonate with being Aries rising in tropical zodiac. Now, just a few interesting things we have here. I'm going to keep this because that's a useful little thing. Yeah, I'm going to keep that. Just looking for some scrap paper. Ivy is Venus on Makarica, just like me, just like our last reader. It's funny, I get a lot of Venus people because I'm Venus on Makarica. Isn't that crazy? Venus on Makarica, we have a Venus that is the highest degree planet in this chart, and you're going to be relieved when we go into the Adityas, because in this tropical zodiac, you are considered to be debilitated in the sign of Virgo. When we go to the Adityas, you're going to find your Venus is actually doing better than you might have thought. It's interesting that Venus and the North Node are conjunct, and then Jupiter is opposite, conjunct the South Node. It's a very interesting signature going on there. We have the moon is Kemadruma. It's nice, though, that the moon has Mercury in the 10th house from itself. That's going to help the moon out a little bit there. The moon is waxing, which means it's better when the moon is waxing. That's a nice thing. But the moon being Kemadruma means that there's no planets in the 12th house from the moon and no planets in the 2nd house from the moon. So there's no planets beside it. It can make the moon feel like there's nothing to grip. And it can make the person feel kind of isolated, a little bit awkward. And the moon being in the 10th house is not the moon's favorite place. It prefers to be closer to the bottom of the chart. We have Saturn in the 2nd house. Mars is in the 5th house. Sun and Mercury are together in the sign of, Sun and Mercury are together in the 7th house. And it looks like we've got a number 6 in this chart. We only have one conjunction, which is going to put an emphasis on the 7th house. The Sun and Mercury are together there. So how many signs are occupied here? We have 1. And this is not including Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, or the nodes, which, by the way, I'm going to bring my outer planets in here, as well as Chiron, just so that we have it. Right, so we got few more planets on the board now. But ultimately, our main focus is going to be the 7 classical planets, not including outer planets, asteroids, Rahu, Ketu. The classical planets, Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn, they fall into 6 signs, right? And so that's going to be a number 6 chart, which means Venus is going to be important. And this is a happy Venus in this chart. So I see some good things happening here with that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as we get into it. We have 2 benefics and 1 malefic. Sun shaming Mars bug. Yeah, I think Robbie has mentioned that to me as well. That is weird, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's a weird bug in column. That reminds me, I'm gonna email Ernst about that. Mars shame bug. Maybe I'll even do a little screenshot so that Ernst can see what I'm talking about there. Because, yeah, Robbie's mentioned that same Mars bug in the Lajatadya Avashtas to me as well. I mean, thankfully, it's a minus and a plus there. Technically, though, this Mars in Leo would be a plus. But this is a tropical Vedic chart. What we want to focus on is the Adityas. So just as a quick roundup here, it's going to be important for us to note that it's a Venus number 6 chart. We'll poke at that in a moment. And whatever's going on with Venus is important, which is highly significant because Venus and the North Node are going to be in Tfashta, as I'm going to talk about in just a moment. So Venus is very important in this chart. It's technically a Mala chart, 2 benefics and 1 malefic in the angles. A benefic moon in the 10th house, and Mercury in the 7th house. But then the sun is a malefic in the 7th house. So those are good things. I think that we've gained a little bit of enough of a sense of what's happening here. Let's rock and roll. Let us now, I wanted to kind of dig into this stuff. Now the next thing to do is to actually put our clock in order. I really want to dig into I've already spent a bit of time on here. Yeah, whatever. Let's say 27 minutes. We're going to give 27 minutes here. Probably going to go over anyway. For our friend Ivy, this is the official beginning of our Adityas reading for our friend Ivy. Let's start the show and let's start digging into some Adityas techniques. And congratulations to Ivy. Thank you for volunteering your time and for being a patron on my channel. All right, let's do it. Let's go. Options, South Indian. Now we are looking at the Adityas circle for our friend Ivy here. Now, there's a few things that are interesting and cropping up that are worth mentioning here in this chart. 1, 2. I just want to check one thing here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Okay. Let's begin. Foist. Let's just take a quick peek at our Nabasa Yogas. The Nabasa Yogas represent foundational bricks in the structure of Jyotish. They're mentioned first in the old texts. They have to do with the shape of planet arrangements. There's 3 different types. There's the Ashraya, which has to do with the planets falling into a certain type of sign. Usually when it's really standing out, I would mention it. This is a chart that actually has a Musala Yoga. Most of the planets are falling into fixed Rashis. And in this case, we have planets falling into Vishnu, Pushan, and those are the 2 spaces where they're happening. There's a fixed nature to them. This person's always at the grind, but it's not that strongly emphasized in this chart. Now, the next thing is the Dala. And these are 2 yogas formed by either having benefics or malefics occupying the angles. So life either unfolds smoothly or with difficulty. This is a Mala yoga because we have the moon in the 10th house, we have Mercury in the 7th house, but we do have the sun in an angle as well. There's more benefics than malefics. It's only one more benefic, but it's still a Mala rosary yoga. Now the next thing, and that's a nice thing. It's a positive flow. Although I've got Sarpa yoga like crazy, but there's something good that comes from both of those types of yogas. And finally, as we can see in this chart, we have planets. Remember, this is the main planets. Sun and Mercury are together in one conjunction. Then we have Venus in another sign, that's 2 signs. Mars makes 3, Saturn makes 4, Jupiter makes 5, and the moon makes 6. The main 7 planets are falling into 6 different signs. That gives us the numerology of Dhamma, the wreath yoga. And this person gets happiness from children, has great patience in learning. It's a positive, generally considered to be a positive thing. So with the Mala yoga plus the wreath yoga, there's a little bit of good things in the very foundations of this chart. This person is contented to see their treasure. There's an inconstancy here, but they're kind-hearted and they're excellent, generous, philanthropic, devoted to the welfare of all people. It's a very Venus energy that happens in this chart. It's a nice person. It's a wreath. So there's good. They improve on what they're doing. They can have a foolishness because they don't limit their decisions by only practical concerns of the face value of an item. But instead they make decisions involving their feelings, their own personal practical concerns, and their own desires. So this can be called foolish because Venus, it's not that it's foolish, it's actually wise. Venus is the guru of the Asuras. So that is where the consciousness is coming from here. Yes, Kelzor, you're correct. The nodes do not factor into the Nabasa yogas. It is only the 7 classical planets. And there's only 7 available types of Nabasa yogas, right? That's because there's only 7 planets to consider. In this case, we have Dhamma Wreath Yoga. This person has a high capacity for happiness, but it really takes a well-disposed Venus in the Rashi chart and the Navamsha chart to know what's going on with this person's Venus. When Venus is well-disposed in the chart overall, gives high capacity to make decisions in life that are going to bring the highest value to the person, to them personally. Now, a quick poke around at this Venus here. Adityas Ogayak. I think I was almost messing with something here. In the tropical, it's in Libra. Oh, okay. Oh, no, this is right. Yep, sorry. My brain was not in the right place there. So, in the Adityas circle, we have a Venus falling into the sign of Tvashta, which is its own sign. I have the Venus in the exact same place. So congratulations, your Venus kicks ass, just like mine does. It's actually falls into the place that's called the Apsara of Tvashta. There's a really mystical thing going on with this Venus. It's Zen. There's a capacity to already, like, I could make some interesting predictions. Maybe we'll start talking a little bit about the chart structure and what can be expected from a Venus like this. It's especially interesting because we see Rahu is with this Venus. It's kind of far away from it. Is this Venus combust? It looks like it. Yeah, Venus and Mercury are both combust. That's a little bit less than ideal, but still okay. This is still a pretty poppin' Venus, but it does have combustion. That's going to bring it down a little bit. And that's worth mentioning for sure. Venus can do well in the 6th. You know, Venus helps out the 6th house. You're right that it's a Dastana, and that's going to be a mitigating influence. But the 6th house is a Dastana, which is a difficult house. But it's also an Upachaya, which generally means that it's going to get better over time. Our friend Ivy here is born 1998. That's 7 years younger than me. I'm 34, so 27. So you're probably 27 now. And as 27, you would be soon going through your Saturn return. Probably around 2028 is when you're going to be in the full swing of Saturn return. But you're already in it. You're already going through Saturn return. You're within 30 degrees. Saturn is transiting in Aryama. It's within 30 degrees of your natal Saturn. You're already in the process of going through the 27 club. So this can be a tough time for some people, but you got a pretty nice Saturn, especially in the Navamsha chart. Now, what I want to look at, how is this Venus doing in the Navamsha chart? Yeah, it's doing good. Very well. Venus actually, yes. Venus is in the Navamsha chart. It's in the Navamsha of Mitra, which means it's delighted by its friend Mercury there. There's a great friend energy happening there. So Venus is very nice in the Navamsha, and it's in its own house in the Rashi chart. So everything we've talked about with the Nabasa yoga here, Venus is well disposed. This brings a very high capacity to make the best decisions in life. And, you know, it's worth celebrating. Lots of good things to be said here. Now, I'm almost inclined, we can just wax philosophical about the good things going on with that Venus. I'm usually looking for tough stuff in a chart, but I can speak to this Venus, so I'm gonna. It's at 28.5 degrees of Tvashta. So let's just take a quick peek at Tvashta. What's going on with Tvashta is, okay, so let's just do this for a minute. We know Venus is very important in this chart. It is the Nabasa yoga planet. It's the, what would we call it? The Sankhya yoga planet. Sankhya relates to numbers. This is a number 6 chart. Venus is the 6th planet in the days of the week, which is kind of where a lot of this comes from. Sunday, the sun. Monday, the moon, moon day. Tuesday, mardi is Mars. Mercredi is Mercury, Wednesday. Jeudi is Jupiter for Thursday. And then vendredi is Venus. That's Friday. This is a Friday energy to this chart. It's celebratory. It's the end of the week. This is where we have our fun. And so this is a number 6 chart, and Venus is going to play an important part. Plus, Venus is the Atmakaraka, which is very significant if you've been watching my channel. It's the soul of this person is really flowing through Venus. So wherever Venus falls in the Rashi chart, that sign is going to be significant. Venus is falling into the sign of Tvashta, which it naturally already rules. What's very interesting is that we also have Rahu here. It's at a distance from Venus, which is nice. We have a Rahu in the 6th house, which means that we have Ketu in the 12th house, which is also a nice thing. Also similar to me, interestingly enough. I also have the South Node in the 12th house. The South Node in the 12th house is very introverted. It's very inside itself in its own world, especially with the South Node being in Data, the first sign. There is a self-orientation to this person, and life is going to drag you, Ivy, into an isolation. Some of this isolation is bad because you have the moon is Kemadrama, which means the moon, it doesn't have a planet in its 2nd house or its 12th house. So the moon can feel a little awkward, a little icy, a little bit like it's a little bit difficult to get into humanity. The 12th house energy, though, having the South Node in the 12th house, this is a spiritual energy. They say it's a good thing. It allows you to be able to deal with enemies when they come. a nice placement for Ketu is the 12th house. It allows you to kind of let go when hard things happen in life. You have a spiritual sense that this is all a game. That this time around and this incarnation is a opportunity for the soul to squeeze the paint out of the tube and observe the foil of the self. There's a similar implication that goes on with Venus in its place here in its Aditya Redtanu. That's something I'd like to speak a little bit to here. I'm going to focus a little bit on this. Loris. Thanks, Loris. I've been chewing on Ernst's stuff quite a bit, I can tell you that. Nice to see Loris here. Loris Turpin is a fellow student of Ernst Wilhelm's. And so I recommend him for a lot of great, for what he does. He's got a great website that I have been taking much information from. And it's probably a good start for us in digging into Tvashta to take a quick peek at my notes taken from his website, 360heartsinthesky.com. He has great information there. Another great resource of information for these Adityas is coming from laurabarat.com. I'm honestly just going to take a moment because Laura's a doll. I love her to pieces. Laura Barat, astrologer.com. Would that be it? Yeah. Laura Barat Astrologer. That's Laura with a U, LauraBrat, astrologer.com. When you check it out, it looks a little bit like this. Now, she has gone and put information on all of the Adityas on her website as well. So as we can see, there's a few folks, including my friend Loris here, who are putting out this information on the Adityas. So really quick, Tvashta is really all about the love of creation, and there's a signification here as the law of fatherhood. It's the 7th sign, and it relates to the west, just like how the first house relates to the east, and that's where the sun comes. The sun comes from the east. It's born and is a seed potential. Then when the sun heads west, the west is the best. Get here and we'll do the rest. The west is where the sun sets. So there's a seed of the potentials of a person seated in Tvashta. And it is the sign where we get our form, our root form that we can expect to convey in our lives. Tvashta relates to Vishvakarma, is the one who shapes, sculpts, and builds, the cosmic artisan. So there's a love of creating and shaping of forms here. Cool. Awesome, Loris. Tvashta is ruled by Venus. It's the person who shapes the universe. And this person comes after Vivishvan and transforms the vision into concrete reality. The great shaper and wielder. And there's a lot of things, you know, there's lots to be understood about what's going on with Tvashta. There's a signification with Tvashta of a need to harmonize your ancestral energies, the paternal and maternal energies between your father and your mother. There can be generational trauma that is being worked out through Tvashta. There is a signification of understanding my soul versus, it's like the nature versus nurture. Tvashta, when it's well, which this is an interesting chart because Venus is so signified in this chart. There's good fruit with Venus in this Tvashta position. What's interesting is that Rahu is here in Tvashta, which means that our friend Ivy here might not get all of the expected fruits from Venus and Tvashta right away. There might be a development of the need to appreciate what you do get, and there's going to be a very particular narrative for our friend Ivy here relating to Zen, as well as what I would kind of consider getting out of the Matrix. Now, we can wax philosophical about the Matrix all we like. I have the same Venus as our friend Ivy here, so it's, you know, fun for me to just riff on this theme for a moment. People think about the idea of the Matrix, and it's the bad thing. If you ever watched the Matrix movie, if you haven't, Ivy, I highly recommend it. Probably two movies that are great for a person with this kind of position is The Matrix, and another one that's a great movie. It's called Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It's one of my favorite movies. It's just chef's kiss of cosmic, psychedelic cosmology. But it has this idea that this world, again, similar to what we were talking about with K2 in the 12th, this world is our garden. It's, you know, the soul can't experience the love of itself if it is not born, if it's not born, if it's not manifested. Cool, Ivy. Cool. I'm glad you watched that movie. That movie shows, just like The Matrix, that, you know, The Matrix paints a very yucky picture of Maya. Truth is that, you know, with Maya, you want to eat the fruit and leave the skin behind. That's why we're all born here on planet Earth. Our souls are looking to have some kind of resonant experience. And we need to paint the picture. We need to have a foil. That's one of my favorite psychedelic words is a foil. You have a piece of glass, and if you breathe on it, the condensation shows that the breath. This life is the condensation of our breath. Otherwise, we wouldn't know that there was somebody breathing there. We wouldn't know the soul. You can't love the soul if it's not born, if it's unborn. So this world is an important way of experiencing the love potentials and the expansion of love from the heart that is given in every human soul. And the love factor is going to be important. So with this Venus, let's, you know, for the sake of it, this is a good Venus. We can see good things happening with it. It is combust. What else is happening with this Venus? It's in its own sign, which is good, but it's technically combust, and it's got an angle from the moon. It's got a, let's see, the moon is hitting Venus technically at 24 points. Not enough to be too worried about, but it's not a screaming delight with this Venus. So there's good things and bad things happening with this Venus ultimately, but it's ultimately pretty good. And so one of the first things we want to speak to, because this is such a load-bearing wall in this chart. Oh, I heard that, Loris. Loris is making a cool point about the Matrix movie there. We know that Tvashta is a load-bearing wall in this chart. The theme of creation, being an original creator, of getting your needs met from other people. That's a very important thing for Tvashta as the 7th sign. Jaimini, the ancient sage, gives us these wonderful enigmatic phrases for understanding each sign. And the one given for Tvashta is gain from trade. The wonderful thing about Tvashta is that a person on planet Earth with Venus in the position like it is Tvashta is the place where Saturn is exalted. So this is a person who's willing to let things go, knowing that it's all just Maya. It's all the matrix anyway. You know, you could let a lover go if it's not ultimately gaining you the self-growth and self-realization that you seek. You can let a house go. You might have a deep devotional sentiment to everything that comes to you, all the people in your life, because they're all Krishna. They're all Radha. They're all life coming to you in a divine way. But you don't want to mistake the finger pointing at the moon for the moon itself. You don't want to mistake the mirage of Maya for the soul. And so you can let things go. You can make trades with things. You can let something go, excrete it like Saturn would do, because if you have to in order to get closer to who you truly are. We can see Saturn is exalted in Tvashta, which is part of the narrative of Tvashta. It's harder on the sun. There's lots that we could speak to that about that, but for the sake of Tvashta, there's a good capacity to gain favor from the world here. And you are a Rith Adama person. You have a number 6 in this chart. So it's good for you to take advantage of the love that you give to people, that you are willing to share to people, knowing and even falling in love with them, falling in love in every little thing in life, seeing Krishna in their eyes, seeing it as the divine being manifest for you. Now, let's take a little peek here, because Tvashta is such a load-bearing wall in this chart. Let's take a peek at some of the chart structure that's been given by Ernst Wilhelm as relates to Tvashta. We are going to peek into it. Let's say it'll be right here. So, with Tvashta, with every sign, we're going to have the critical house, and then we're going to have the exaltation points from that house. For Tvashta, Tvashta is the 7th sign. So we want to get a sense of what's happening in this opposite place from Tvashta, which is the 7th from Tvashta, because it's sign number 7. There's going to be a resonance with the 7th sign from the 7th sign. And this is Data, which is the 1st sign. In order for Tvashta to do its best, it has to make peace with Data. And this is significant in this chart because obviously we have planets. We have a very important axis happening between Tvashta and Data, don't we? We have the north node in Tvashta, and we have the south node in Data, the 1st sign. One thing that can be said about this is that the fruits that we expect from this very nice Venus that we see happening in this chart, the Venus Atmakarika depths probably won't be fully realized. It won't even start to really come through until about age 36, 35, 36, around there. Saturn needs to mature. Saturn matures at age 35, technically at age 36, but at 35 it starts. It's once Saturn matures that we get a real grip. Saturn kind of narrows us down to exactly what we are and exactly what we're supposed to be, and lets go of the wheat, the chaff from the wheat. Lets go of the crap. It narrows us down and focuses us on what we're truly supposed to be. That's my phone alarm, but that's okay because we're cooking right now. So at age 35, 36, you're going to begin to get the sense of what your soul is truly doing here. Up till then, we're all playing in the mud. You know, Carl Jung said that we don't really begin until we're 40. Up until that point, we're just gathering data. A similar thing to the age 40, for the Western people, it's like Uranus opposition. That's where that age 40 thing comes from for them. But in the Vedic system, this real turning point of turning on to life. So when Saturn matures at age 35 to 36, and at age 36, Saturn has snapped to. Everything that hasn't been working is smashed. It rubs your fucking nose into it and says, this is not working. And it's at that point that Rahu begins to come into play. Because you begin to take hold of yourself, take stock of what has worked and hasn't worked, and you begin to get a sense that it's because of my soul that this is working and not working. And so then you start working on the soul. Now, because the North Node Rahu is in the sign of Tvashta, we can probably expect that all of this, like this life is really going to start coming together starting at age 36, fully so at age 43. It's at age 43 that you're really going to come into an understanding of what Venus truly means. It's this Zen thing. Understanding what Venus is in its Apsara position. And understanding this key thing that I'm going to be kind of poking at here, which is not only getting a sense for your own foundations. This is the critical house, but what's very important is what we're going to talk about, how Tvashta is ruled by Venus, and Venus is exalted in Parjanya over here. It's debilitated in Vivishvan. It's exalted in Parjanya, which means Tvashta, in order to get gains from trade, in order to let go of what the soul doesn't need, you need to have a 6th house energy, and it's dealing with problems, relationship problems, love problems, dealing with your psychology, dealing with enemies as they come, especially because Venus is the Atmakaraka in Tvashta. You're going to find that there's going to be a need to deal with 6th house energy and related to Tvashta. And that is where Tvashta is going to work best. The thing is that because this Venus is a little bit starved by the moon and it's combusted by the sun, you have to watch that you don't lean into a Vivishvan, a 12th house energy with your Venus. This is what is going to come to fruition. This realization is going to start to come to fruition at age 36 and then really come through at age 43. And that will allow you to really make peace with Datta by the time you're 48. Because 48 is when Ketu matures. So this is true for everybody. Look for age 36, 43, and 48 as these key critical points in your flip of your soul coming to fruition. Yes, Ivy, you got it. Life will get more clear as you get older. It's true for all of us. It's just a natural thing that happens. The windy lust and craziness of youth dissipates, and we begin to understand what's really important in life. To answer Boo Hotero, what do you think about people who make great works of art and die before their Saturn return or second nodal return? I would basically say that they probably had a lot more to share. But if they don't have a good Saturn, I hate to say it, but the best a person could do is to live a good life. A lot of great artists, if they die at the 27 club, or if they die before their second nodal return, if they die before 36, by the way, Jupiter also it goes past its natal point at age 36. A lot flowers at 36. If a person dies before then and they're a great artist, we have to wonder what kind of compensation was going on there. This is any amazing artist who does incredible work before they get to be 36, we have to basically, Saturn probably killed them because they had some compensation complex in their brain saying, I'm a piece of shit. I need to show the world that I can do this great art no matter what, even at the expense of developing on my center, my foundation. There's something psychological going on for them that said, I need to paint the Sistine Chapel. And if I don't eat enough food, if I don't develop relationships, if I don't get money for the work that I do, if I don't ultimately take care of myself and my own personal foundations, it doesn't matter to me. They make this incredible work of art and then they die when they're young. It's impressive that they made that work of art, but it's Maya. It's the Matrix. That shit happens all the time. What's really more impressive to God is you taking care of God. You taking care of yourself. You living a good life. You know, if a janitor lives to be 70 years old and he has kids and he has a happy wife, happy life, and he has done nothing throughout his whole life but meditated, thought of God and the grace and happiness has for the life that God has given him, and all he's been doing is mopping floors. No one remembers him. He's got no Sistine Chapel, but in my opinion, he lived more successfully than a great artist that died at 36. You could be Michelangelo, you could paint the Sistine Chapel, but if you die at 34 years old, to me, I would not be as impressed in the soul as that quiet janitor who lived happily, who lived under God's grace. That is more impressive in the eyes of the soul. Rainer Fassbinder died just before. Work was all for him. Right. That's a great, thank you, Buho Taro. Yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about that. It almost makes me want to cry. I think about these things. I'm such a soul person. How much did you love Krishna? How much love was expressed throughout your whole being? That's what really impresses divinity. So, let's zero in here for a second. We have Venus as the load-bearing wall in this chart. It's falling into Tvashta. Venus is the Atmakaraka. Tvashta needs to make peace with Datta, which means in order to make great gains and trades for yourself, this Datta thing, this is kind of relevant, because Buho Taro really prompted a relevant thing for us here, because the creations that you make are not gonna, you're not gonna do the best creating that you can do if you don't have a foundation. This is why we can see this is this psychedelic thing that astrology teaches us. You are not going to develop the forms. You're not going to give the children that you deserve, that you can give. Tvashta, remember, is west. Datta is east, where the sun arrives, comes from. Now, these aren't houses, mind you. These are signs. But the first house resonates with the first sign. So if you want to do the best art, to give the best art you can give, you need to have your own foundations. You need to have your own Datta. You need to take care of yourself. Take care of your own shit. And with Ketu in Datta here, it's worth mentioning our friend Ivy. Be mindful that because you've got Ketu here, there's going to be times where you are taking care of yourself is yucky because you want to do the Tvashta thing. You want to involve yourself with people. And you got to make sure that you don't become a chameleon in that sense, where you erase yourself in order to relate with other people, and then there's no you to relate. You know? Tvashta relates so much with trade. You know, imagine you're trying to go to market, and you want to trade with everybody. And everybody has a thing that they chose. This person chose blueberries, this person chose watermelons, this person chose peanuts. Now, throughout the year, you were thinking, oh, I think I'm going to grow peanuts because I know of a friend who gave me some peanut seeds. I'm going to grow some peanuts. And then you took care of those for a while. The year goes on. It's like, you know what? Screw it. I actually don't want to do the peanuts. Now I want to do blueberries. It's like, okay, you're a few months in. You still got a little bit of time. You plant the blueberries. And then you plant those blueberries. And they kind of come up not as strong because you didn't pick something from the beginning. And then it's like in the third quarter, you know, it's like, let's do watermelons. What the heck? You plant the watermelons, but it's too late. Now you get to the market and it's like, am I selling peanuts, blueberries, watermelon? they're all cheapened because you have nothing now to offer because you didn't have your own root of this is what I am, this is what I want to grow, this is the farm that I have, the soil that I have is best for this fruit. So Tvashta needs to have a foundation for itself. And with Ketu in Data, with Jupiter there too, which is interesting. You know, you might find, especially because if I'm not mistaken, it's interesting that the Venus is opposite that Jupiter. Yeah, so Venus is hitting it a little bit. But this Jupiter is delighted by Mars and the Sun. Jupiter's doing okay in this chart. Jupiter's ultimately fine here. More fine than bad. But there, again, with Ketu in Data, with Ketu in the first sign, it's going to be important for Ivy to recognize that when it comes to you taking care of yourself, you've probably always been that way. And you'll probably be that way, especially up to age 36. And it feels yucky for you. I want to expand and create things with people. And you should. You should already be starting to reach outside of the castle of Ketu and merge yourself with the new environments of Tvashta, with new places, new people, new things. You need to see how your genetic material is going to be expanded upon by involving yourself with other people. But don't forget to look out for number one. Don't lose yourself in the process is basically where we're at with that. So, Tvashta needs its own self-root with Data in order to truly make good trades with other people. And as well, Tvashta's Lord Venus is exalted in the 6th house from itself. This is the chart structure material that Ernst Wilhelm has most recently been doing. When Tvashta, and this is a good chart for this because we can see Venus is combust and it's getting a bit of an aspect from the moon. So this is a Venus that can get into the yucky spots. And I'm going to also say this, the 12th house energy, especially because you have Ketu in the 12th house in your actual chart. There's going to be a resonance with this, but I don't want to yank around our attention too much here. What we're focusing on is we want to know how to do Tvashta the best. How do we do the Tvashta? What's the dance? What are the instructions? The instructions to Tvashta is to follow instructions, which is a very 6th house thing. Tvashta can make a great, brilliant engineer. Tvashta deals with problems, and it deals with problems best by involving itself with people. Yes, Loris, thanks, buddy. I have the same Venus as our friend Ivy here, Loris, but I also have Jupiter with Venus. It delights the Venus, but it starves the Jupiter. So there's a good and bad there. This is similar in this chart, which is why I'm happy to be talking about it. In this chart, we have a good Venus that's just by itself in Tvashta. It's ultimately a good Venus. This is a pretty happy, chappy Venus. It's just that there are a little bit of the moon starving it and the sun combusting it that's going to bring trouble, which means, and I want to explain this way, when you have positive Lajjatadhyavashtas going towards a planet in a sign, that planet is going to act when it's good Lajjatadhyavashtas, like this Venus is in its own sign. The Lajjatadhyavashtas are pulling it down though, but let's say for the sake of it, it's ultimately a good Venus in Tvashta. Now, wherever the exaltation point is for Tvashta, that Tvashta is going to act in a way as if it was its lord was exalted. There's going to act as if there is good things happening in the exaltation point. So let's say this is a good Tvashta. Let's first talk about what we can expect from the exaltation. This means, again, Tvashta is exalted in the 6th house from itself. That means that when Tvashta is doing well, you're going to get gains from people, from trading with people. You're going to involve yourself with new people and new environments. And you're going to have an understanding, a sixth house understanding of how these things work. And you're going to deal with problems. Something that's good for you to do, Ivy, as a Tvashta person, is to open yourself to dealing with problems in your relationships as they come. Be patient with them. Be, conscientious. Put conscious, loving energy. Because this is what it is that Tvashta wants to truly feel like it loves all the people in its life. You have to have that feeling that I love this person. And when you have relationships with your parents, if you can, it's good for you to deal with yucky stuff in the psychology of your parents. You're not here to fix them. You are here to understand them like a Lego piece, like a chess piece, and help them as much as you can. Your parents, I'm talking about, and also people in your family. But remember, you're not under any obligation to fix them. The generational trauma buck stops at you. And it's your soul, your energy that's going to heal the generational trauma that you have with your parents, if there's any there. You might not even have much, but your parents probably are carrying some kind of generational trauma. Your father might be too much of something. He might be abusive. He might be, this might not even be extreme. I'm just using words to kind of paint a picture, to show the foil. Your father might have been too tough when it comes to, this is what you should do with your life. In fact, your father and your grandfather and your parents, they might have done an ancestral lineage, and they might push you to do it. And what you want to do is see the matrix for what it is, make peace with it, kiss it, and say, I see you for what you are, and get the cherries out of it and leave the dross. Get the fruit and leave the shell from your parents. And if your parents are still alive, working with your parents is going to bring goodness. Up to the point where you're getting sucked into guilt for some. A good movie, I looked it up. Michael Jackson doesn't have too much stuff going on. Oh yeah, he does. He's got the sun and Pluto in Tvashta. The Michael Jackson movie is a great example of some of the, my camera's going funky here, some of the Tvashta stuff that happens. His dad was an asshole, told him, you've got to work with the Jacksons. But Michael Jackson was like, no, fuck you, Dad. I'm going to go and be Michael Jackson. It's kind of a similar thing with Tvashta here, with your parents. But he had Sun Pluto there, much more extreme, much more yucky. Your parents are an opportunity for you to exercise your ability to see the love of all things, to love your own roots, but also recognize you're an individual within what your parents have given you. Your dad recently passed. I'm sorry to hear that, Ivy. I hope that was a good, that went well, and that was a good thing for you. When our parents go, it's always, again, an opportunity for us to make peace with the energy that our parents are moving through and that we're moving through with them. Now that your father has passed, this means that the Tvashta energy that you can gain from your father is a psychic one. It's in your mind and your memory. You might even do well to glorify your father, to praise him. Go to his grave, lay some flowers there, talk with his friends about the good things that your father did, but also talk with your mother about some yucky stuff that might have happened with your father. All in the spirit of love. Understanding the love that the universe is giving you. I don't fear telling you this because I think you can understand it. And you do it through actions. It might be very purifying for you to do things, if your father loved a certain charity, if your father loved anything that your father loved, to serve what your father loved as a way of, again, a way of loving service. God, my computer is just such a piece of crap right now. A way of giving loving service to your father. The whole point here is that that's an opportunity and a foil for you to express the psychological engineering love of understanding of this is what this person wants. If you can do it for your father, you can do it for yourself. You can do it in your relationships, in your love relationships as well, Ivy. You can think about how you can do this in businesses, with friendships. And, you know, especially if you're doing business with people, it's important for you to understand that you have the psychology that can understand people like a chess piece. You know what makes them click. And you have an opportunity with that engineering mind when you have ideas for the immediate people in your life where this would help this person. That love will come back to you. What you don't want to do, whenever you have anything going on with any relationship with anybody, you sense a psychological issue that you know is going to be a problem down the line. What you don't want to do is just analyze it, just sit here stewing on, you know, you're working with this business partner and this business partner is a woman and she has a husband and they've got their emotional issues. And so your partner can't always be there in your business. You don't want to just sit and think about it in an analytical way. And you don't want to just digest other people's problems by sitting and thinking about it and stewing over these connections you've made with people. With just let go of the analysis paralysis and deal with what you can do in those relationships by talking with them about it, by, you know, and talking with how it relates to your relationship, your business partnership in that way. And the point is not to get locked into analysis paralysis with people who you're trading with. Don't get stuck in just thinking about it and not doing anything, because those enemies are going to crop up and you'll be tired. Your brain will be lost on the analysis. What you should do in your most important relationships and loving relationships is act as if there's an exaltation in the 6th house from it. And that means helping them deal with what you can and then make peace with what you can't help those people with. This is the key for Tvashta. The main keys are taking care of yourself and making sure you don't lose yourself in these relationships, but also understanding the other person, loving the other person through the issues you have together, and treating it like it's a soul bond that you're happy to share. But also with that 6th house energy, there's a psychological element to it. You can be hard. 6th house can be tough. Dealing with problems in your relationships, especially business relationships, anything where you're sharing values with others, because you have great value to share with the world. And you have to make sure that your relationship with the world is not draining you. You know, you don't necessarily want this to be like in the relationships you get into. You don't want to suffer silently while you know what could be better for these relationships, but you just analyze it and suffer silently and don't actually do anything about these relationships you have. That's the best thing for Tvashta to do. Especially when it comes to this ancestral generational trauma stuff, seeing how you can act on things that take best advantage of the skills you've been given in your family lineage. It's a very Tvashta thing. When you read about Tvashta, you'll see that. Giving form to other people's needs. It's the best way for you to give form. You're a creator, you're a Tvashta like me. You're an artist. Ivy. I know I've been spending a lot of time on Ivy, but this is good practice now that we're revved up in this technique. I want to squeeze it while we have it. We have Rahu in Tvashta, we have Venus in Tvashta. Venus is the Atmakarika. We have a number 6 chart. So this Venus theme in Tvashta, of being a creator for other people's needs. See, I'm Tvashta. I've spent a lot of time writing songs for myself before I started getting into this stuff in astrology. It's partly because I've got the South Node in Indra. I make songs because I wanted Dustin Cormier to shine. At some point, I began to realize that the writing I do best is when I'm in a band and the singer has a certain way of singing. The guitarist has a certain way of playing guitar. I'm a bass player. Instead of me just like, I also do acoustic stuff and I write songs like it's just me, like Bob Dylan style, me singing and writing songs just by myself. It gets masturbatory. I'm jerking myself off. I've been jerking myself off for years. It's been cool, you know. Masturbating isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's not as good as making love. And this is what Tvashta is better at making it love than it is at masturbating. So don't waste your time masturbating. Sometime is okay, but there's a skill that you have as a creator of a form that others will appreciate. So me as a bass player, I do much better writing licks that I know will complement my guitar player and complement my singer. I do better creating things for the band. Painting would be great for you, especially as a creator. But I really want you to push yourself, Ivy, to see how you can have an engineering mind for the chess pieces on your team. Get into a team of people. See how you can be a jigsaw piece and something bigger than yourself. Definitely the truth. The bass players are often the foundation that the whole band stands on. Tvashta makes a great bass player because it's thinking about this is a form that everybody else can stand upon. You need to think about this for yourself, Ivy, because that is a great talent that is ultimately going to come through for you. At age 36, you're going to start thinking about how can I serve others, and at some point you might lose a little bit of yourself in it. Up till you're in your 40s. Then when you're in your 40s, your Ketu is going to start to mature, and then you're really going to see what is my best work. Data, Ketu and Data, the first sign, my foundations. How can I set things up so that my creativity is being taken advantage of? But until then, explore your consciousness, explore the love that you can get through Tvashta. Because ultimately, with Tvashta in the Apsara placement, I was just studying this the other day. I was studying Kumbhala. This will be my last thing for today. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. It's exercising my brain. Ivy, you are, by giving me your time, you are allowing me to expand my art. And thank you for being that canvas for me. You're doing it already. Now, let's take a look at Tvashta Aditya. Now, can you guys see me here? Yes, you can. This is Laura Barat's description of the Adityas. What I want to specifically look for now is Kambala would be very useful. That's more of that matrix stuff that we were talking about. Not letting the wool get put over your eyes, seeing all relationships as ultimately a bridge and a foil for you seeing your own soul and coming into yourself. Now what we want to look at is Tilotama Apsara. Ah, yes. Tila means a small sesame seed, and Uttama is the greatest. So Tilotama means the best in little things. Tilotama is the Apsara of Tvashta. This is something that, let's give just a little bit of context here. It's okay, I'm having fun with this. Ivy, you're getting an extended thing here. But this is what I need to start talking about in my channel. And I'm going to be teaching these things the more I come to understand them. Ernst Wilhelm gives us this very far out thing where there's an alignment of each 30 degrees of a sign. Their placement in the hora which is the D2 chart, and the placement in the Trimsamsha, which is the D30 chart. Suffice to say, in this moment, Venus in the last 5 degrees of an odd sign is going to put it, not just Venus, any planet in the last 5 degrees of an odd sign, it's a fire and air sign, is going to be in what's called the Aditya retinue, the being of the Apsara of that Aditya. So Tvashta has 5 beings in it that come along with Tvashta as an Aditya. And all these beings play a different part in the chariot, which is driving our lives forward towards expanded love and consciousness. With Tvashta, what's interesting is that you're going to need to really master Rahu in its position. It's in the Gandharva position. It's at the early part of Tvashta. So you're going to need to master the early part of Tvashta before you can fully understand and take advantage of the Venus position at the end of this Tvashta position. This might sound like some crazy French to a lot of people, but it's important. This is where astrology is going, and this is where Ernst Wilhelm's astrology is going. It's good practice for all of us. Venus at the end of an odd sign is in what's called the Apsara of that odd sign. So what we're looking at now is the Apsara of Tvashta. And we have to understand that there's going to be a very subtle, nuanced behavior expected there that's going to ultimately give the fruit of Tvashta on the whole. If anybody's interested in this stuff, you can email me about it. I'm going to put my email at the end. This is the work that I'm doing right now. It can go very deep, but I'm going to do my best to give a little glimpse of it here. The planet, especially the Atmakarika here, and the number 6 yoga, this is number 6 chart, which is relates to Venus. Because the Atmakarika, it's in Tvashta. Venus being in the Apsara position, the last 5 degrees, it's going to be subtle, nuanced behaviors and archetypes. And that's either going to mess with Tvashta's agenda, or it's going to bring goodness to it. Now, all things considered, since Tvashta is ruled by Venus, the Apsara beings relate to Venus. So there's kind of a harmony here. So Tvashta has a good Apsara, we could say. And any planets that fall in that Apsara have a little bit of positive luck. This is a Venus that is still a little bit starved by the moon and agitated by the sun. So there's going to be some good and bad that we can see from the Apsara position. And this will tell us a little bit about how it's affecting the foundation of Tvashta as an Aditya. So let's take a little quick peek here. Tilottama relates to finding the best of small things, the best of little things. There's a few points I want to dive into here. I'm looking at Laura Barat's description of Tilottama. Visual beauty will never last as the most beautiful. The qualities are what is the most beautiful. Tilottama is the most valuable of the Apsaras because of her qualities, not her looks. It's ironic Venus can be so much about looks, but this position of Venus is going to teach you to see the true goodness in things beyond the superficial. She represents the feeling that arises when we want something truly valuable in our souls. Tvashta gains from trade because it is valuable. Tilottama gives us the feeling of that thing is valuable when we feel something valuable. That is Tilottama. We only stick to things that add value to our lives. Really, with Tilottama, the idea here is that you're almost going to be seduced into feeling the good things in your life. And so if it's afflicted, you'll experience you'll think something is valuable or has good qualities when it does not. You might also have some amazing qualities, but you don't recognize your own value. Or you may try to sell qualities that you don't actually possess. You don't feel those qualities. It's the feeling that is key. If you can't feel your useful qualities and your not useful qualities, you won't build a beautiful life out of it. So this is really a key thing happening with Tilotama. This is good for me because I have Venus here as well. Is you need to be almost seduced into the true beauty behind something. In relationships, you don't want to get skewed by the external beauty. What's going to happen is that ultimately you want to be like Parjanya. You want to find for yourself through Parjanya, which is a water sign, tasting it. It's Venus exalted, which means you want to go and taste the things that actually get you turned on, basically. If there's a man in your life that turns you on, you need to use your 6th house reasoning skills to understand, why does this guy turn me on? The only way to do that is to go for it. Despite your awkwardness that you might feel with your Kemadrama moon, you might feel the moon is like, you might overthink romance. You might overthink like there's a soulmate thing and this person could be my soulmate and I don't want to fuck it up with this person with this experiment. You might feel the sun is combusting this Venus. So you might feel like you have an idea based on your parents of, I'm this type of person. I would never explore my desires in this way, but you need to, you might have been repressed in some way and exploring what's ultimately good for you and what feels good for you. There are things in your life, Ivy, that probably feel good for you that you should just roll your shoulders back and explore them for yourself. No one else can take your ability to explore what you want away from you. What you don't want to do is analyze in your brain, this is what I think a perfect man would be, right? This is the debilitation point. You don't want to just sit in your head in a 12th house way and not act on your feelings. You don't want to just analyze and think, this is what would make me feel good. This is what would make me feel like I have what I'm supposed to have. This would give me everything I want. You can't sit and dream and think about it without exploring it and acting on it and finding it. I'm going to look at Loris's thing in just a moment. And Kelsar. This is the key for this position with Venus and the Apsara Tilotama, is that you will get lost in little things that don't matter, and you'll miss little things that do matter. It would be good to explore, the moon starving Venus. It's not that strong in your chart really, but Venus is combust. And so the sun agitating Venus is going to take away from your ability to truly just fuck it all. I'm going to find my taste and explore it. And it might feel awkward, especially because you got that Kemadrama moon. It might feel awkward for you, like you don't deserve. Like, what value do I have that I can give to somebody else? Don't think about that. That's not how Parjanya thinks. You don't know, because you don't know what your value is to another person until you explore it. How many times have all of us in relationships been in a relationship with somebody and we say to them, you know what? I don't think I should drag you around anymore. I don't think that you should go out with me because I don't have any value to you. So you must be suffering in this relationship because I'm nothing special. You've got all these beautiful things that I love, but I don't have anything to offer to you. So we should break up. A good lover will look at you and say, that's not for you to decide. You don't decide what I get out of you because you have no idea. How you wake up and you hold your coffee a certain way and you stare out the window and I fall in love with you in that moment. You wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know how many times a day I fall in love with you. It's not up for you to decide the value you have for me. I'm tearing up a little bit because this is a good lesson for me too. The only way to really know is to just open your heart and be in a relationship with a person. Not just a person, not just, you don't need to have a relationship in order to get the most out of Tvashta. But the more important point is that there are things in your life that you want to gain, environments, places you want to live, where you might think, I'm not giving anything to these people. But that's not for you to decide. Because you might be giving so much to the people around you and not even realize the value of the tiniest things that you do. And you need to follow your feelings on this by exploring them through a 6th house experimental way. Not just sitting in your head, in your room, thinking about what you think are the most important things. That's probably the best way to describe this. So, holy, thank you so much. This has been really good for me to explore this Tvashta thing. Because, again, I almost want to show for the sake of it. Do I have my chart up here? I think I was just looking at it. Dustin. No, it popped over. Whatever. It's okay. I have my Venus in the same place. And so I've been moving through the same lessons. So I'm glad that I got a chance to do this, Ivy. Now, Ivy, I'd love to know, you're still young, so it's going to be a little bit before these themes really fruit for you, especially because you've got Rahu in Tvashta, which means you're probably strongly operating in Data land still. What am I doing here? You're probably still strongly operating in Data land, especially with the South Node in the 12th house. Don't be afraid. The thing with the South Node in the 12th house, with Jupiter there, is there's some blessings that comes from the feeling like, oh, life is happening and I'm missing it. But that's okay. You're allowed to have a quiet, sage-like life with the South Node in the 12th house. There's great goodness that's going to come from that. Most people, you're not going to get lost in the matrix. Most people get so fucking bent out of shape because they were supposed to get the promotion, but then this other asshole got it because he sucks up to the company and it makes me feel like such a piece of shit. South Node in the 12th house, it's matrix, man. It's data, it's numbers, dude. It has nothing to do with the true essence of the soul. So you're going to have a blessing of being able to, you'd be good at meditating. You have the potential to be a good contemplator and meditator, Ivy. You might do well to get into something like Kriya Yoga. Something that encourages you to bring the energy of your Indriyas back up through your spine and let it flow from the bottom from the root to the crown and the crown to the root, and to practice the yoga of self-realization, seeing what life really means for you, what love really means for you, focusing on your energy field, devoting yourself to a spiritual practice and consistently going towards it. This will make your introverted reality, there's a lot to gain there. There's a sage energy here. But you don't want to let that get you away from that parjanya. You don't want to let that get you ultimately away from the love that humanity has to share with you. Now I'm glad I said this all. I feel pretty good about everything that we've just conveyed here. Now I'm going to take a quick peek at some of our comments. Ernst said about the second from Tvashta, the resource being sold or traded. Vishnu would be the trust required for exchange or to use any resources as trade. Vishnu would be important in this way. Vishnu and Tvashta, Loris is right, they are together. Tvashta and Vishnu, they're blended together. And so having the sun combusting Mercury here, that'd be worth speaking to a little bit about what's going on with Vishnu, the trust that you can build with people and how that relates to things. Ultimately, this is an Aryaman rising chart, and it's got a nice aspect from this healthy Venus here. But again, Venus has combustion and starvation from the moon. This chart's a bit of a mixed bag, but ultimately good for Venus, I would say. But learning about Vishnu would certainly expand this reading. Cool, Kelzar. I'm glad that you're digging this Adityas stuff. Awesome, Ivy. You know, I hope I've given you some practical things. Yeah, I feel like we have. The main thing is listen to the feelings that turn you on romantically and truly about what feels good in your soul. And don't just sit and analyze them in a 12th house way. Follow them, taste them, explore them, experiment with them, with what makes you feel like you're being loved by the universe. The love of the universe has your back. The water of the river is flowing from behind you and carrying you to where you need to go, but you need to feel that water and experiment with it. Flap your arms, get into the flow with it. Yeah, Kelzor is riffing with Loris here. Vishnu's ability to transform is important for Tvashta, because the ability to adapt to what is needed to be created is critical to Tvashta, because Tvashta does best creating things for other people. Not sure you saw the exchange between the 5th and 7th. Some love there. Good one, Loris. I just totally drilled into Tvashta, probably because I've got my own karma there. Good one, Loris. That's a great eye on you, bye. We have Mars in Vivishvan, which is ruled by Mercury. We have Mercury in Vishnu, which is ruled by Mars. So there's definitely a Parivartana Yoga exchange happening between these two planets. They're both got some roughness there, not too bad. Mars is especially being starved by Mercury in Vivishvan. So the 5th and 7th is going to have a little bit of that overly romantic energy. So be aware, Ivy, that there's things in your chart that are going to bring you into psychological difficulties and entanglements and intimacy. I'm sure you probably already know this, but I want you to understand that the universe wants you. This is worth me saying here, and I thank Loris for bringing up that Parivartana Yoga, because there's going to be entanglements in love. Love's probably can be a yucky thing for a chart like this, but your bread is buttered, Ivy, on the side of trusting that love is a good thing for you, that your good feelings are a good thing for you. You could hide yourself away and not want to deal with the relationship energy that your soul's trying to do, but all you're going to be doing, you could run to the Himalayas and sit on a Himalayan mountain and chew the cud of your unfulfilled desires. You could tell yourself, well, at least I'm not going through the pain of those relationships. But you're playing low stakes poker at that point, and ultimately you're losing. You're paying $10 to get into a poker game, and then you're playing with pennies. You know, it's a losing battle at that point. You cannot sit on that Himalayan mountain and think about how you think relationships are supposed to go. You should just trust that the universe has luck for you, Ivy, in love, and especially in learning to love yourself and your own soul, using the matrix for your self-realization rather than it being a drag against your self-realization. That is what Ivy needs to hear, which means don't expect love and relationships and connecting with people and having business partners. Don't expect it all to go perfectly, but it'll go worse if you try to run away from it. There's nothing we should all ever be running from in life, especially with such a load-bearing wall, such as Venus in Tvashta, love, experiencing the joy of connecting with people, gaining something from them and giving. We gain from trades because we give stuff we don't need, and we gain things that we do need from people who are giving things that they don't need. It's the classic thing. You got a peanut farmer and a blueberry farmer. I got peanuts coming out of my ears. I don't need more blueberries. I've got enough of them. I got jars and jars of peanut butter because I'm a peanut farmer. My dad My dad and his daddy were peanut farmers. We got peanuts coming out of our ears. We don't need them. So I can give you peanuts and it would be peanuts. But you've got blueberries. And those blueberries are very precious to me because I can't grow blueberries, let's say, because peanuts eat all the nitrate in the soil that would allow me to grow blueberries. So I got no jam from my peanuts. Blueberries are very precious to me. But you have blueberries coming out of your ears. So you give me something that means nothing to you. It's pennies to you, but it's $10 to me. And I give you these peanuts that's peanuts to me, but it's $10 to you. It's 1 + 1 = 20. That's gain from trade. And the only way to do that, you're not going to be able to dream about it. You got to just experiment with it. You got to lose in a few deals. You got to give your blueberries away. You got to give your peanuts away, and you get peanuts back because you thought that's what you wanted. But now you're just in this relationship with someone that's giving you crap and they're getting the most out of you. And then you realize it, you cut it off, or you communicate about it. Whatever you got to do. It's going to be painful, but it'll be more painful if you just sit at home and dream about it. Cool. Cool, Ivy. Yeah, I hope that this hit in this way. You can be a spiritual nun within yourself, and you'll never know how that goes. You'll never know where that takes you. It's possible all this Tvashta stuff could end up being that you're looking to be in a relationship with God through the needy and through the people all around you. But in my opinion, Ivy, before you do the nun thing, think about everything that we've said and explore. Don't just run away. Don't just go to a monastery as a nun and think about all the things that you could have done and could have explored while you were still young and beautiful. You're only 27 years old, honey. Enjoy it. You're still in the Venus period. At least wait till you're like 32. Give it like 5 years before you do the nun thing. You're in your Venus period. Now is a very important time for you to scratch into something that's very central to everything that you are. So don't run from it. Don't run to it. Let it flow through you. And I hope that this has been helpful for you, Ivy. God bless you. You know, this is what often happens is I'm glad we did this. I was almost nervous in the beginning about moving through this stuff. And I hope Christopher knows that, like, you know, I spent a lot of time with Ivy here. But Christopher was just as useful in us seeing what's going on here and building on things. Christopher is AKA AE Common Thread. That was our first volunteer for the day, and he actually gave a donation. Thank you very much, Chris, for that. It's allowed us to kind of go where we're going here. For everybody who's been here, this has been very fruitful. I feel very good about everything that I'm doing. I think we're on the right track here. This is my first time, you know, you guys have just seen what Ernst Wilhelm calls the Aditya retinue. If you go on Ernst Wilhelm's website, this is where, in my opinion, based on what I believe I've been moving through with Ernst Wilhelm, I'm not an authority here. Oh, bless you, Christopher. Thank you for saying that. What I've just dug into with the Adityas retinue, and there is more, to really dig into the chart structure, there would be more to do than what we did here today. But we did a pretty good deep dig. I'm not an authority on these Adityas. Let's all remember that we're all here practicing astrology with you, my friends, together with me as an experimenter and explorer. I've got a lot of Amshu energy. I'm looking to fucking dig my fingers in and to play with this shit, to get it, to comprehend it. And I thank you all for being a part of it with me. As time goes on, we're going to do more. We're going to dig into it. In fact, let's see. Today is Thursday. 1, 2, 3. Next week is going to be next Saturday. Next week, we'll probably do another reading, because I usually do the second Thursday of the month and then the 4th Saturday of the month. The May is working out in a weird way where basically the 4th Saturday of the month is next week. So keep your eyes peeled for next week. For the moment, let's give a nice little golf clap for our friend. I'm such an idiot. For our friend Ivy. Thank you to Ivy. Thank you to Christopher for volunteering your time. I'm really excited and revved about what we got to today. But now I have to eat some lunch before my stomach eats itself. I am now hungry. Chocolate did me some good, though. Let's call her a day for the moment. And thank you to everybody. Thank you to Loris Turpin Astrology for hanging out with us here. It's nice to see Kelzor. Buho Taro. It was nice to see you here as well. Itzel. I believe that's Elizabeth, if I'm not mistaken. I have so many people running through my stuff now. Nice to see Itzel here. Maui Logic popped in to say hello. Robbie Chaudhry, of course, our guy is always here. Gunmetal Crow, Rose Ilias, nice to see you. Axhas, nice that you popped in for a little while as well. Awesome. I feel great about it. I think we did good here today, folks. Tune in next week, next Saturday, and we're going to continue the unfolding journey of my understanding, my ever-expanding understanding of astrology through Ernst Wilhelm's Adityas circle and the Adityas retinue. There's lots to digest here, folks. For now, let's go eat some lunch. Oh, and let's say this quickly. If anybody... I always like to do this. My friend Monica, God bless her, she rightly reminds me to do it. I have donations here. If anybody wants to donate, you can just click on my little PayPal, my GitHub thing here, and that'll take you to PayPal. And as well, if anybody is interested in doing a reading with me, a real reading, Ivy got lucky here with this one. Because anybody who join the readings, folks, because you're going to get lucky because we're doing this exploring, but now I want it. Now I got a taste for it. But if anybody is interested in doing a reading with me, I do, an hour reading for, I think I'm charging $80 for a cold reading for an hour right now. Something like that. Around $80, and then $200 for a full reading. You can email me at astrology@dustincormier.com, or you can check out dustincormier.com and see my website where I talk about all my offerings. If anybody wants to dig into really what we're doing here today, you can feel free to do it there. I think it's going to be a while before people really get what we're doing here, so that's okay. Now I've got a taste for it. We're on Jupiter mode now. For me, that's what I need in my life right now at age 34. I am serving Ernst Wilhelm. I'm serving my team with these Adityas. Even if a lot of people don't get this Adityas thing. But those who do are on the journey. And I am glad that I got a taste for it now. So this is what we're doing. I'm not on this channel to give people what they think they want. I'm not here to do free readings like I was for a long time. I'm here to expand Jupiter and to talk about true cosmic self-realization. And this is my way to do it at the moment. So thank you for being on the journey with me. If you're here with me, you're going to enjoy the fruits of this experiment. See you on the next one, folks. Check us out next Saturday. We will be doing the thing at that point. I don't even know how to turn the... Oh, here we go. I'm going to eat some lunch now, folks. God bless. Enjoy your weekend. The nice weather's coming. I'll see you guys on the other side. Oh, shit. At least one streaming channel must be selected. What? I don't know how to stop it. My thing just got